Not exactly how you want to go into the playoffs. The Bears on a 2-game losing streak now. Still got to figure out who they are playing. We're going to break it all down. There's a lot to talk about. CHGO Bears Postgame starts right now.
This is the CHGO Bears Postgame Show, driven by Toyota. Let's go places and bet 365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use the code CHGO365 at sign up. Bears fall to the Lions 19-16 at the Horn, and it was a day where we're still watching. Hopefully the Commanders hang on here.
Actually, I believe it's over now.
Is it over?
The Eagles just turned the ball over on down. So
all right,
it will be the 2 seed for the Bears after all that, and they will play the Green Bay Packers. Oof. But in a second, I'm going to tell you why.
Well, in a second, you're going to be. Yes,
exactly.
It wasn't.
That's my analysis of this game today.
It wasn't a great ending. So, well, let's get to it here because a lot went on today. We'll go through all of it. Woot's here. Briggs will be showing up. Azumah. Braggs was at the game. But first, the Adam Hoge instant reaction presented by Toyota. Let's go places.
I gotta be honest with you. I need to go on a little rant here for a second. I can't wait. Let's go.
So we talked a little bit about this on the postgame show. We argued a little bit about this on the postgame show a week ago, the importance of this game. And I think what's really disappointing, I get all the scoreboard watching today. For me, I was really not worried about the seeding or who they ended up playing as much as you made the decision to play your starters and go for this one. And you're playing the Detroit Lions. You're playing for just a 500 record in your division. There should have been a lot to play for in this game. And the Bears instead played their worst football game since they played the Lions back in week 2. They were completely flat. Remember a couple weeks ago when Braggs got all mad because DeMarco Jackson jumped on the pile on the opening kickoff and all that energy they had? It was the exact opposite today. Completely flat for 3 quarters. So, look, the good news is at the end of the day, you still got the 2 seed and you're going to get the Packers, and I'm sure they'll be way more hyped up next week, and maybe this doesn't even matter a ton. I still find it incredibly disappointing to see the team come out with that much lack of energy in a game that should have mattered a lot to Ben Johnson, to the team. I don't think Caleb played nearly his best game or as well as he's been trending up lately. So it just leaves you with this sort of empty feeling and bad taste in your mouth going into a now enormous football game against the Green Bay Packers next week.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, and I thought they came out flat. What Aaron Andrews talked about at halftime, how Ben Johnson said this was an easy game plan, and I kind of thought after that 49ers game when the offense was rolling on all cylinders, you're going to keep your foot on the gas. And I don't know if it was, simplifying the game plan, just not having them ready to play, but they had a lot to play for today. Luckily, the Commanders won, helped us out a little bit, but they were playing for the potential 2 seed. So I just didn't understand why after their best offensive performance, they laid an egg. They just didn't seem fired up, ready to go. Hey, in the second half, they came back and did some good things. But majority of this game, 3 quarters, they played awful. And this is a team that's going to have the 2 seed, and you're kind of like, this is what you're putting on tape? This is what you're showing the world?
Yeah, look, the defense is super concerning. And Jalen Johnson at the top of that list for me right now because he just can't play, couldn't cover. He's obviously hurt. I don't know where Tyreek Stevenson is. I would have him on the field. It's confusing to me. I'm trying to maybe
remember he had a hip injury.
Well, right.
So maybe he's not close to 100 either.
So okay, if that's the case, then why is he active? That part's confusing. Look, last week against the Niners, we basically celebrated a loss because they were able to put up 38 points and they had a shot to win it at the end. And the last play call was a little discombobulated. It didn't work out. They scored in that game. They scored 14 in the first quarter, 7 in the second quarter, 7 in the third quarter, 10 in the fourth quarter. Nearly put up enough. Nearly had 17 in that fourth quarter. Today, it just feels like you rewound back to the start of the season or in the middle of the season. Nothing in the first, nothing in the second, nothing in the third, and then credit to the Bears, woke up in the fourth, tied the game. That was awesome. Had the ball, chance to win, didn't happen. And then the defense can't stop and they kick a field goal to win it. So it's just like the inconsistency popped back up today. Or the consistently inconsistent part of what they've been at times.
I'm going to quote one thing you said, because you said we celebrated a loss. I did not.
That's true. That's true. You were that's true. You're right. You raised the alarm bells.
I was trying to have two different conversations, and one was I was celebrating, and I still feel the same way today, the future of the organization with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. That and honestly, that probably matters most. Right. So that part I was celebrating last week. A lot of the other things, and it wasn't just defense, it was mostly defense, which I think, despite the fact they ended up holding the Lions to 19 points today, a lot of those same alarming things with the defense. The biggest thing, which I've been now talking about for a month and a half, is just the overall lack of speed. That I found extremely alarming, and to me made me really question the viability of this team as a Super Bowl contender this year. That was my big takeaway from the 49ers game. And unfortunately, I don't think today moved the needle anywhere in a more positive direction. If anything, it just moved in a more negative direction because, and I was saying this during the middle of the game, Woot, they keep all this GPS data. I would love to know, and I don't think they do this, but I would love to know the average speed of the defense compared to the rest of the league. Because right now it feels like watching them that it's got to be amongst the slowest, if not the slowest defense in the league across the board. And I don't think it's necessarily just the fault of the personnel that was brought here. I just think it's a lot of injuries that are adding up. You look at Jalen Johnson's just clearly not the same player, and I don't think he's going to be the same player until next season. Tremaine Edmonds looked like a Pro Bowler early in the year. After his injury, he doesn't look the same. TJ Edwards he hasn't really been the same all year since the hamstring injury. There's just even Deshaun Wright the last couple weeks. CJ Gardner-Johnson, the book was out on him. They kind of figured it out. Now he's hurt too. It's just too many concerns on that side of the ball, adding up that offensively you pretty much have to play perfectly. And again, I'm going to quibble with one thing last week. Yes, it seemed like they put together a 4-quarter game offensively to keep up with the Niners. They actually didn't. Most of the first half, they left too many opportunities out there. Ben Johnson was pissed at halftime with his offense. And so we really have, other than probably the Eagles game, they have not put 4 quarters together offensively. And today was basically just 1 quarter. So I know I'm being long-winded here. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom because I'm not long-term. I think everything long-term, big picture is great. But to think that this team right now, with what we saw today and even last week too, can go through and win 4 games in a row starting next week against the toughest teams they're going to play all year, it just seems like a stretch to me. And I'm sorry I have to say that. I don't want to be saying that on January 4th, but it's how I feel looking at not just today, but really what I've observed over the last month.
No, I couldn't agree with you more, and I think that's the problem. You look at the teams that survive and go through 4 games of wins is the fact that they have a great defense. Right? You look at a team like Seattle that we were talking to. Hey, Sam Darnold might not be perfect every game, but the thing is you have that great defense to rely on, and that's something with the Bears. If the offense is not perfect, like you're saying, you're kind of like, oh, shoot, what are we going to do? And I think today was a situation you kind of thought with everything in the Bears' favor, fighting for that number 2 spot. Ben Johnson got embarrassed in that first game playing against his old regime. You kind of thought they were going to give everything they could, and they were just flat for most of the game. And, hey, credit them for trying to come back and do that. But to be a playoff team, you have to be able to put away a team like Detroit in a game like today.
I mean, the flatness is a little hard to understand. You're playing for an extra home game in the playoffs, but if we go back to last week, you lose a really tough game. It's late at night. You're coming back. You're 2 seed, 3 seed. You're in the playoffs. But you are also playing it's a rival. It's a division game. All of that. So I'm still trying to fully understand the flatness to this, but like the other part of it, and you could there's just you can spin this in so many different ways. The Chicago Bears just finished the season 11-6. They were 0-2. They've won 6 games in the fourth quarter when they're trailing in the final 2 minutes. I mean, it's been an unbelievable season to get to this point. They're the number 2 seed in the NFC. They have the Green Bay wobbly Packers coming in. You absolutely have a very good chance in that game. Maybe the Packers are going to be favored by 1.5 points, or the Bears that'll move around. Whatever it is, it's a coin flip game. You have it at home. And then from there, yeah, it gets more difficult, but I don't know. You might see the Eagles again, who you manhandled when you saw them. Now, Philly's playing better as of late, and they rested their starters today, so that game is not indicative of anything. But like, the Bears certainly have a puncher's chance in my mind to make a run here in the playoffs, NFC Championship game or whatever. And sure, of course, it doesn't look perfect right now, or even close to perfect. And maybe they bow out next week against Green Bay. But I'm not betting against them. The Magic did return in the fourth quarter here. You're at home. You're playing a Packer team that you could have swept, or you could have been swept. It's a coin flip. They're there. It's hard for me not to at least celebrate the season at least in some way today. And if this had been a dud and it had ended 19-zip or 16-zip and they didn't show up at all, then I'd be like, well, that's just not good. But the fact of the matter is, they had the ability to come back again and do it. One thing that does worry about me now, this is long-winded, but you got Cole Kmet making an incredible catch on a 2-point conversion. Took a huge hit. Guys were getting banged up. C.J. Gardner-Johnson had to leave go off the field. So I do worry about their health going into the playoff game.
Well, which would have been the argument for sitting these guys this week, which I'm not saying they should have done in hindsight. I did say you could do it, and that was up to Ben Johnson the way. I don't necessarily think it was the wrong decision to say, you know what, no, we're a young team. In fact, I don't think it was the wrong decision. You go play to win, beat one of your rivals in the Lions and feel good about yourself going in the playoffs. But that's what's so disappointing about the result.
Right.
That because you did that, you made that decision, then you got to come out and play. Yep. And they were so flat across the board, really. And it is what it is. It was very disappointing.
I mean, they got their tail whooped in every phase of the game. You talk about total yards, rushing yards, passing yards, time of possession. They got whooped, right? Yep. Like Lance always says, B to A. They did, right? They came back and they fought, but they shouldn't have been in this game, realistically. Like, the Detroit Lions controlled every aspect of that game, and they literally had nothing to play for besides just pride.
Lions had the ball for 35 minutes and 45 seconds. The Bears had it for 24-15, so 11-minute difference. It's significant. Why don't we get a big money super chat in there from Billy Oak? OQ? Billy OQ.
Or Bill Yoke.
Bill Yoke.
Or Yoke.
It could be the Bill Yoke. Either way, it's $100 brought to you by our friends at Toyota. Let's go places. Bears defense is horrible. Ben coached a poor game plan for quarters 1 and 2, not past to Loveland until quarter 3. Did DJ get a pass?
Well, he got one that DJ he didn't fight for too much in the end zone. Well, that turned into an interception.
You're teeing up, at least to me, just a very ugly part of the box score. Colston Loveland caught 10 balls today on 13 targets. Colston Loveland had as many targets as Luther Burden, Kyle Monungai, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift combined. I mean, it's just DJ Moore, 1 catch for 11 yards that's just not going to get it done. Yeah. Vegas had his odds at 34.5 yards today, which seemed low, but it was he didn't even make it to a third of that. And then the bomb that Caleb threw to him, DJ's got to knock that down, or at least make an attempt to knock it down.
He just got boxed out by Monte Maddox. It was very questionable effort, to say the best, to say the least. I mean, and I don't know what's going on with DJ, but last week he was sick, and that was fair.
And
But what was his numbers again today, DJ?
DJ had 1 catch for 11 yards on 3 targets. And by the way, last week I was screaming at people for yelling at DJ because he just caught the most amazing pass against the Green Bay Packers to win you the game of the year. So there's that. But if you're going to put a poster child of not ready to play today, he's in that team photo.
Well, there's a bunch of guys. I mean, I got a list of stuff. I mean, we saw number 98, Montez Sweat. He couldn't get off a block from Khalif Raymond.
Yep, on a down block.
Now, a down block, I get he didn't really see it coming. But once you're on the block,
you shed the hell out of that guy.
I would think that if I was trying to block him, he could toss me.
270 pounds.
Khalif Raymond, I realized could probably toss me too, but he's also smaller than me. So I would think that Montez Sweat, big giant, number 98, could toss him, and he didn't. Yeah. Jalen Johnson, there was that moment, I think it was like the first play of the third quarter, where he just had no interest in tackling Jameer Gibbs.
Like literally,
basically just watched the play go by.
Yep, and it didn't deliver a shoulder, a forearm, nothing.
Nothing. And then there was DJ on the interception. You got Andrew Billings, Big Bill, getting high school hard counted twice.
Yep.
The ball is right.
As the nose, that should not happen.
This is literally.
I actually thought it was funny. I'm like, that's ridiculous.
You're this close to the ball.
Yes.
And you're jumping off sides twice.
Not even jumping off sides. He just ran home. It was ridiculous. It wasn't like, he got caught in the neutral zone. It's like he thought he knew what the snap count was, or I don't even know what was going on. That was so ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different things to unpack defensively, but I think this comes down to the defensive line, right? I mean, there's some issues at linebacker and not playing the same, but it gets a lot easier if you have a defensive line that gets off the damn ball, and they don't. Right, the one play that Austin Booker got off the ball against Decker had a great rush, hit Jared Goff, but there's no consistency in that. Right, we look at Jervon Dexter; he's just not a fit for this scheme. I think he could be a great player in a different scheme, but I just think they thought it would work out. But you look at their defensive line, and consistently, they're not getting off the damn ball. You look at Aiden Hutchinson on the other side of the ball; man, he is flying off the ball every snap. And that gives you an advantage, and that's something we're missing with the defensive line, because when you have a good defensive line, it makes everything that much better.
All right, let's do this before the break.
Okay.
Carm, what do you think the spread is for Bears-Packers? Because it's already out with our friends from Bet365.
Packers by a point.
Okay. What do you think?
3.
Packers by 3?
Yep.
That's interesting. Okay. So this is very similar to the last time they played, and it's probably going to bounce around here a little bit. So technically, it's a pick 'em. So the Bears are on Bet365 favored by 1.5, but it's plus 100 on the juice. And if you actually look at the money line, they're both minus 110.
So it's a pick 'em game.
Yeah, if you look elsewhere, the Packers are favored by 1.5. They don't really do anything less than that anymore. So instead, they just mess around with the juice. So it's essentially a pick 'em.
That's what it should be.
It's probably what it should be, because if you want to look on the bright side, I don't think there's going to be any issue with coming out flat next week. You might come out and not play well. That's different. But it makes some mistakes because you're going too hard like we saw in the last Packer game. But I don't think anybody's going to be coming out questioning the effort, in the first quarter, in the first half next week. And on the other hand, though, the Packers did sit their starters today. And they basically had the eye on the Bears now for 2 weeks. The second they lost to the Ravens last week, they're like, well, we got nothing to play for. Let's go out and sign Trayvon Diggs, who I'm not necessarily worried about. But they started making moves already designed for that playoff game, and they're going to be ready to go. And the Bears mostly came out of this game okay from an injury standpoint, but losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson, boy, I hope Kyler Gordon's ready to go next week.
So, too.
Yeah. That seems like a pipe dream, but I suppose it's possible. Look, I don't want to, try to get all rosy here, but think about the way what is happening. The Green Bay Packers are coming here to play a playoff game where if you win it, you have the next game at home. You can't really ask for much more. You've got, and they're an injured Packers team. Micah Parsons is not walking through that door. So, look, the Bears, Caleb talked about when they went up there the first time, they felt like they, I don't know exactly.
Press too hard. Or
however he put it, like that they gave them one or they let them get whatever it was. The Bears feel like they should have won the game up there. The Packers feel like they should have won the game down here. All right, let's go. Third time, playoffs. The stadium's going to be completely bananas. And the Bears, listen, if the Bears play well, they'll win the football game. If they don't, they won't. I mean, really, at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. And even if they don't, though, for like a half the game, I still think they'll be right there. But if they play well, I would be very surprised that if they play the way they played against the Niners as far as putting points on the board, they're going to win the football game.
Yes, Carman. If they score 38 points, they'll win.
Why can't we do that? Why can't we just do that?
At the same time, Green Bay might put up 30-something too.
Listen, I'm unwilling to sit here for the next 2 hours and be like, it sucked. They lost. Look, they're 11-6. Yeah. They got the Packers coming in. They're the 2 seed. Yeah. I don't know what happened today. It sucked. But they also came back miraculously like they did. So Soldier Field went nuts. Braggs was there. He has my phone. I need my telephone back.
Well, this week upcoming, they need to start fast. They had that great drive against the Packers, but couldn't capitalize on it last time. They got a score on the opening drive, honestly.
Let's get to the franchise focus because it was a huge day for Caleb, even though the Bears lost and he didn't make the 4,000-yard spot. But we'll do that next. The franchise focus in a second, but first.
Toyota-thon, you know it. It is on. Get your Toyota while the getting's good. You can score value on the versatile RAV4. It's like the DeAndre Swift of Toyota vehicles. You can do everything. Catch the ball in the backfield.
Gets over 1,000 yards like nothing. Lives the dream.
He's DeAndre Swift. He's the RAV4. And it also happens to be America's #1 selling vehicle. You can also ride with Tacoma, our rugged weekend warrior. That's like the Bears' offensive line. Just pushing right through.
Beautiful.
Or you can hit the road with Camry's all-wheel drive. Always got that available for you. Red Hot savings are ready for you right now at Toyota-thon. Find your local Toyota dealer. They're everywhere, so just look down the street. You'll probably find one, and they'll get you covered with Toyota-thon. Get you covered with all of those awesome vehicles that they have ready for you. Toyota, let's go places.
And shout out to our friends. Oh, you know what? You know what I love about you, Bears, Steven.
It's on the screen for you, buddy.
And everybody.
It's on the screen for you.
I'm well aware. It's our friends at Bet365. And shout out to our friends at Bet365 because they made me money today. Thank you, Bet365. I knew that you were going to come through. And there is breaking news, as always, from our friends at Bet365. That's right. New customers, you still act now. Get yourself $150 in bonus bets when you bet $5, win or lose. Sign up. Use the code CHGO365. Deposit $10. Place a bet for $5. $150 in bonus bets. If your bet wins, loses, draws, doesn't matter. Bonus bets can be used on spreads, totals, player props, futures, or more. Whatever the moment. Never ordinary at Bet365. You do have to be 21 or older. If you or somebody who knows a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in app only. Shout out to our friends at Bet365, and it's almost depressing that the Sunday Night Football jackpot is over, but they've got a ton of stuff for you. All right. Let us move along to our franchise focus, and Caleb Williams is officially the all-time leading passer for one season in Chicago Bears history. 20 of 33. 212 passing yards, a couple of touchdowns. He did have the one interception on the bomb to DJ, but he needed 109. He got 212. So there you have it. He passed Erik Kramer's record, which held for 30 years at 3,838 yards. Sadly, didn't cross over to 4,000. Came awful close, and but it wasn't his best day.
If that last drive goes better than it did,
he might have gotten there.
I mean, again. Of a lot of things that were disappointing today, to get that interception from the defense finally, and then to not take advantage of it, the Burden drops that first down. It felt like in the moment, I have to go back and watch the tape from a couple different angles. It felt like Caleb kind of put too much zip on it. It was maybe just slightly high and behind him. Not the. I probably will end up grading that as a catchable ball, but not accurate. And then you had the intentional grounding on the next play, which was just. Without having gone through the tape, obviously, it felt like the Bears missed Ozzie Trapillo today. Mm-hmm. It felt like the offensive line just wasn't completely dialed in. There's been also a trend recently. I know they set the bar high with their running game, but I don't know if you guys have noticed recently the run game hasn't quite been as dialed in. Yep. Even last week, I know as a team they got to 110, but I think Swift barely went over 50 last week. Today, DeAndre Swift, 40 yards rushing. Kyle Monangai, 14 yards on 6 carries. Having that to be able to lean on that running game, when that all of a sudden disappears, it puts a lot more pressure on the passing game. And they're playing shorthanded right now without Rome, and clearly DJ, whatever's going on with him, he's not the same guy. So it's tough right now.
Yeah, I think they didn't get as many touches as you'd like to see, right? 16 between Monangai and Swift. That's kind of a little low for what we've seen. And you kind of thought it was still a 2-possession game, even as bad as it got at times. Why did they not make more of an effort to really get that running game going when things weren't working and clicking, kind of grind them down, that war of attrition? So I kind of think if moving forward, especially against Green Bay this week, they have to rely on the run game. Monangai and Swift, they got to put the team on their back, because I think that opens up everything with Caleb and company.
3,942 yards, just doing the math for you, of where he finished up at. So 58 shy of 4,000. So the Bears do remain the only team in the NFL that's never had a 4,000-yard thrower. You would hope that they would cross that.
It was right there for you, too, on that last possession.
I mean,
where were they at? They were about the...
They needed 58 more yards. So
I know. So let's see, the last possession.
You kind of needed to get a field goal.
They began at the 26-yard line, and there was 2:11 on the clock. But you're right, it was tied, so a field goal. Yeah, it would have been close. I don't know if they would have. It could have gotten there, though.
I got to be honest. I'm annoyed that that storyline's going to continue.
That's what I was saying on the pregame. It doesn't really matter, but it's more annoying that they didn't get there. Look, I think Caleb's going to end up getting to 4,000 plenty of times in his career. I'm not terribly worried about it going forward, but it's even more annoying when you think about all the somewhat easy crossing routes that they dropped over the course of the season. Yeah. You can go to like 5 different games where they just had these passes that
one game was
easily
like 10
could have
drops.
gone for like 50, 60 yards that were just dropped, and otherwise he's easily over 4,000.
All true, but he either did or you didn't, and they didn't. It's a collected number. You know what's was getting a little bit confusing today too? Look, DJ's not himself or whatever's going on there. Rome's out. Luther Burden, when you saw him today, he looked pretty damn healthy. They had to eventually, he didn't get the ball all game, and then they handed it to him. And I was like, oh, well, that calf injury where he looked like he had a serious, that it was going to keep him out after the end of the 49ers game. He looked completely healthy. And then they started throwing him the ball. He ended up with 3 catches. That guy, I don't get the lack of targets for Burden.
Okay, to be fair, though, let me ask you this. Yeah. If you're Kelvin Shepard, the defensive coordinator of the Lions, you turn on the tape from last week, and then I tell you Burden's healthy, what's your game plan?
I hear that, but also when I'm facing the Bears, I'm gonna stop Colston Loveland too, and he caught 10 balls today.
Well, you got to pick and choose, and I'm gonna side towards the electric wide receiver that I need to shut down. I'm gonna try to contain the very good tight end who's not gonna totally run away from me.
You got to think from a defensive perspective. Who are you more worried about game breaking plays? Luther Burden, obviously. Right, he gets the ball and good things happen. Like Loveland can take it to the house, but it's not that same level of electric.
They also didn't have a lot of plays in the first half, which is becoming a theme. I mean, that's what happened against the Packers a few weeks ago. That's what happened today. I wonder if that's why the Lions took the ball to start the game too. You know, I think these teams are realizing that the Bears defensively basically have 2 options. They either can sit back and play bend, don't break, and then use the red zone and the end zone as an extra defender and hopefully hold you to the field goal, which is what they did against the Packers 3 weeks ago. It's what they did against the Lions today for the most part. Or they play more aggressively and they give up touchdown, like they did against the 49ers. I mean, that's just where they are if we're being honest about how they're limited. It was one thing to get away with the lack of pass rush earlier in the season when you could cover and you had speed on the back end and your linebackers were playing well. Now they don't have the pass rush. In fact, I would actually say the pass rush has gotten better. I think the pass rush is actually a tick better. Not a lot. It's still a huge deficiency. But I think it's been better in the second half of the season than the first half. But now the linebackers aren't playing as well, and they're slow as hell on the back end. So it's just kind of what that defense is right now. And the problem with playing this bend but don't break style is it's in 2 of the last 3 games, it's left the offense without the ball and a lot of plays in the first half, which really makes it hard to win.
Exactly. I think teams are looking at the Bears, like the Packers are going to say, hey, let's keep it out of their hands. That's how we're going to win this game.
Well, if you've got, lightning quick wide receivers like the Lions do, you're going to have a field day against the Bears. Nahshon Wright did not have a good game today. We talked about Jalen, and they missed Tyreek. A healthy Tyreek with some physicality would help. By the way, if you are new to CHGO Bears, CHGO Sports, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We do Bears shows 365 days a year, 55 days, not 365, thank you very much, but all year long. You get
Feels
the point.
Like
5 shows a week in the offseason.
Steven does 365.
Steven hasn't had a day off in 5 years. Like, subscribe would be wonderful. Tell a friend. But yes, hitting the like button at bare minimum here is it would be a nice thing to do as we move along to our players only in a second. Should we hit anybody from the locker room right now? See you teeing some stuff up there.
Let's hear from Byard. We should hear from somebody in the locker room.
Let's get a little Kevin Byard from the locker room on a tough day for the Bears, but they also still, let's remind ourselves, are the number 2 seed in the NFC, and the Packers are coming here. You won 11 football games this year. That's a hell of a year. This was Kevin Byard.
You say, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, any loss is tough, especially losing at home against a division opponent. We just didn't play well enough earlier in the game to be able to. I think we did a really good job in the red zone, but just speaking on the defense, too many long drives, wasn't able to get off the field on third downs. I think in the second half we started to play a little bit better, but just like the crossers and all that stuff was hurting us really bad in the mans. And we knew what they were going to do, but I just don't think we did a good enough job executing what we need to do to be able to get those stops, and those explosive plays just kind of kept those drives going. And we was able to force field goals in the red zone, but we're just being out in the field way too long.
What's the key to Amalante Brown and Jano getting the kind of separation that they got?
Yeah, like I said, man, those are 2 talented receivers. But at the end of the day, man, we knew they were getting the ball. You know what I mean? I just don't think we executed the calls well enough. They obviously got to look at the film, but I just don't think the execution was good enough on our part, allowing those guys to have the plays that they made, because we knew they were going to be the targets if we get the ball.
Go ahead.
Do you feel like this is reset now, though? Do you feel like, yes, this is not the way you guys wanted to play, but you have to take something into a whole new adventure now against the playoffs?
Well, we're going to have to reset. Losing 2 games going into the playoffs is not a good feeling whatsoever. I think as a team, we got to make a decision on we got to play better football. And that's really the bottom line. We're going to have to go on a run. We've done it before, so there's confidence in doing that. But we're definitely going to have to play better football next week. I think we got Green Bay possibly, but we're going to have to play better football than we played today to win the game at home.
What do you take from the first 2 Green Bay games that might be instructive for the third?
Obviously, we know it's going to be a competitive game. 2 teams that know each other very well. Obviously, 2 really good play calls in the game with Ben and Matt LaFleur. It's going to be a tough game, but like I said, we're going to have to play better football than we played the past 2 weeks, and we're going to win the game, bottom line.
It is unbelievable, by the way, that the season is on the line with Ben Johnson and Matt LaFleur on his first press conference. He just got here, and I love beating Matt LaFleur twice a year.
Yep.
Well, you beat him once, and now you got a chance to beat him twice. That's pretty unbelievable. Look, when Kevin Byard got the pick after late in the game, with 2 minutes or so to go, and great play by Jaquan Brisker tipping the ball and Byard being in the right place, everyone, I think, thought the Bears were going to win the football game. The way it's gone all season long, you thought they were going to go down and score after coming back from 16-0 down, 2 touchdowns, 2 2-point conversions, and it just didn't happen.
Well, look, I think that's part of what makes this hurt even more. I don't know what Dan Campbell was doing, but there were some idiotic decisions that he was making in the fourth quarter.
It's true.
That play call to try to run what is a Ben Johnson play, they ran it when he was the OC in Detroit multiple times, including last year on a touchdown against the Seahawks. To try to run that against the team that Ben Johnson now coaches, I realize he's not the defensive coordinator, but on a 4th down like that was a wild decision. And then they come back on the next possession, and I thought they were just going to run the clock and try to get, try to make sure the Bears didn't get the ball again. And instead they're throwing it, and Jared Goff throws it into like quadruple coverage. And this defense, for all its deficiencies, the one thing it does well is take the ball away. I said it in the fourth quarter, like as long as the Lions don't turn the ball over, they're probably going to win this game. They sure as hell tried to give it away, and the Bears didn't take advantage of it. It's really disappointing they couldn't get anything going on that possession after Byard's interception.
I think he was really trying to stick it to the Bears, honestly. Yeah. Like, I think this was a personal game. That's why I thought they would get up for it, just because of history with Ben Johnson and all that.
Some of the play calling was so bizarre. It's like, is he just trying to say, Ben, I could beat you, but I won't. So I'll have this guy throw into triple coverage. One of your guys is going to catch it. And then you go ahead, go down and win. This game means nothing to us. But just know that I would have won the game.
Like he was trying to help Ben Johnson.
That's what I'm saying. Like, hey, listen, I will do something. I'll try this play that would work with you were here, but it's not going to work for us. But just to know that we miss you. Here you go. Here's this play. Yeah. So, all right, let's do players only.
Let's get a big money super. Right?
Yeah, no, that's right. Big money super. Courtesy of our friends at Toyota Let's Go Places. What do we got here? Todd Kinsey, the T-Dog with the $50. Thank you, Todd. Your T-Dog. Your favorite Indiana truck driver here.
You are my favorite Indiana truck driver.
Well, it's where the Bears... We don't need to talk about that today. DJ, with all due respect to your opinions, needs to be traded. He doesn't fight for the ball. Ben lost this game not trusting the Icemen by punting. He trusted this defense. That was interesting, actually.
Yeah, it's something we should talk about.
On the final drive, it was 3rd and 20. They had a completion of Manungai. I think it was 4th and 6, 4th and 5, whatever it was. I said, "Are you going?" You all looked at me like I was crazy, and it would have been crazy, but Ben can be super aggressive. That we discussed it in the moment. I don't know. We can drop into that a little bit further.
They did get 2 stops on the 2 possessions before that, which is what I'm thinking Ben was riding with.
Yeah.
They stopped him on 4th down. They got the takeaway after that. The law of averages then might say the next one's probably going to be a score. The Bears? Yeah, the Bears had 3 timeouts.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been
should have been in that position.
It would have been super aggressive, but I mean, the way it turned out, maybe it was the right call to do. Let's do. Yeah,
Therese Murphy brings up a great point too. We got to get to on this postgame show.
Go ahead.
The timeout, and then the lack of timeout before halftime and decision to go for it on 4th down, not kicking the field goal.
Yeah,
the way that whole thing was handled was not good.
The end of the first half was not good. Yeah, okay, we can get into that. Let's get into our players only. Lance Briggs, Jerry Azumah are next, but first. Shout out to our friends at Sunnyside Dispensary. We love you, Sunnyside. You know this, and we love their crazy selection. 100 different strains to choose from. Up, down, all around. They've got it for you. Easy online ordering, in-store pickup. Wherever you are in Illinois, Sunnyside has a place for you. And sure, go right to their website and order yourself. Go with a big order. Bright Buys every day. You get 50% off your first 3 online purchases. So maybe you want to go in there, find your 3 favorite strains, and then get in there with a big-time order. Or you can just dive right in because you can't go wrong. Use the promo code HICHGO. HICHGO. Put that in at checkout to qualify. Returning customers, we got you to use the code CHGO50 for those. CHGO50 exclusions do apply. Sunnyside Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 or older or Illinois medical card holders.
And by now, here in January, I hope your home's heating has been up for the challenge. And if you haven't gotten it checked out already, it's probably a good idea because you want to make sure it's ready to go for the rest of this winter season. That's why you call 4 Seasons. They got you covered for a lot of different stuff. If you got a plumbing emergency, you call 4 Seasons. If you have an electrical emergency, you call 4 Seasons. If you happen to need a new hot water tank installed today, call 4 Seasons. And now is that time to schedule your 4 Seasons furnace tune-up. At 4 Seasons, they're going to guarantee you same-day installation for all your heating, cooling, plumbing, electrical, and generator needs with no extra charge for nights, weekends, or holidays. You can save up to $4,000 on furnaces right now. 4 Seasons Heating, Air Conditioning, Plumbing, and Electric have been serving Chicagoland for over 50 years. We are sponsored by 4 Seasons here, your trusted local experts for heating, air conditioning, plumbing, electric, and generators. Visit fourseasonsheatingcooling.com for all their special offers and money-saving coupons. That's fourseasonsheatingcooling.com. Boom. Like nothing was ever wrong.
We're going number 2, man, or what?
No, I was getting some coffee, to be honest with you. I need coffee after the Bears put me to sleep for 4 quarters.
Hey, you know sometimes with that extra cheese pizza.
Man. All right, this is Players Only. Welcome back, CHGO Bears. Post-game show, Bears lose 19-16 to the Detroit Lions in a pretty disappointing effort, quite frankly, at times. You got Jerry Azumah to my right, Corey Wootton to my left.
You're being very nice there.
Lance Briggs. Well, how you guys are the very players. Nice. That's why we're doing this segment. How do you come out that flat for that long in a game that to me should still matter? I get it's not the Super Bowl, but you're playing your division rival who put up 52 on you back in week 2. Your head coach made the decision that we're going for the 2 seed. Everybody's playing. It's a rivalry game. It was just stunning to me how flat the Bears were. I don't know which one of you guys want to start, but it just was stunning to me.
Well, where do we start? Listen, one of my keys to the game was find a way to contain St. Brown and Gibbs, okay? Because when you turn on the tape, a high percentage of the throws go to St. Brown and a high percentage of the runs go to Gibbs. So if you know where St. Brown is aligned on the field, you should know what routes he's running. You should be communicating. You should be calling it out. But to see, and it's funny because you get into these pass downs, you're like, it's going to be a dig down the middle of the field.
Yep.
It's going to be wide open.
Yeah.
And it was wide open. And it was St. Brown. You know, a lot of the time it was St. Brown. And that is that's disheartening for me because we're getting ready to go into the playoffs next week. Okay, we saw those dig routes a week ago. They were wide open. We saw those dig routes tonight, and they were wide open.
Yeah.
You know, they covered it one time. And ended up getting a pick.
Yeah.
Think about how many picks we could have gotten if we'd have covered it from the very beginning.
Right.
They probably would have shut it down.
And then Gibbs, right, he's got the Texas route. You know he's going towards the outside. What is he going to do? Put his foot in the ground
and come back. He's coming back.
Acts like he has no clue what's going on. Wide open. Right there.
Right? I haven't even started getting into the linebacker undisciplined play. You know, there's a lot of high lows, and we talk about those dig routes, high lows. We have 2 high safeties. We've got to have some help underneath, okay? And if they're playing cover 2, that comes from your linebackers. Right now, that outside backer, we're not rolling with the deep. We're not looking up the dig. We're not doing anything except allowing it to them to round with speed and get into an open window. So, and the crazy thing is, it wasn't just the Bears. The Lions were taking the cheese too.
Yeah, they were terrible.
They were getting high load. We're getting high load. You know, and so it's to me, you know, there's and we're at the point now where it's part of your fundamental. So on the field during the practice week, it's either being coached or it's being allowed.
It looked like it was just brand new to the guys. You know, it seemed like they also weren't communicating. You know, cut splits and different type of formations dictate on how you should play.
Yes.
Right? So it just seemed like they weren't communicating or they just didn't know or they were just kind of just out there.
Trips away with Jameson Williams tight to the formation. It's always an alert for a route coming across.
Exactly.
So what you have to do right now, you know, your corner, if he wants the help, he should say, hey, listen, tight. Hey, Jameson, tight. Alert the over route, or alert the drag, or the under, or the whatever you call it, the mesh. Okay. And right now, if I'm the hook player or I'm the free player inside, I need to get a reroute on him.
Right now,
I need to get a reroute on him. I need to help, and I need to make sure, even when I get that reroute, that he goes behind me to allow the corner that's covering to be able to continue the corner or to keep a tight coverage on him. But we didn't get any reroute, and he's running away from Jalen Johnson, and what makes Jalen look bad, but that's the hardest route for any corner
He's
to
running
cover.
away from you.
On the field, it's running away from you.
Especially a guy like Jameson Williams. Speed is his thing.
Speed.
He doesn't like when people get his hands on him.
Exactly.
It's shown it in times that he's been stymied at the line is you get your hands on him. That's the only way you stop a guy like that. And you can't run with him.
You can't. No.
You can't run with him. He is a track star out there, so you got to get your hands on him. They didn't do
Starts
it.
with communication.
It's communication, and also the Bears have to just stop something. Stop the run, stop the pass, just stop something, or try to minimize it as much as possible. Again, there wasn't much of a pass rush, so Goff was in the pocket, just standing there free in a clean pocket and just delivering the ball right down the middle of the football field. One of the easiest passes to make. So one, you have to get pressure on the quarterback. So the fact that they didn't do that is very disheartening. And communication and formation, and recognizing formations, it was just, look, we are a playoff team. And we're playing playoff caliber teams now. Yeah. So the defense has to step up.
I know. Listen, everybody has their own way of communication and everything like that. We had a system where we would call out like route concepts, and we'd call it based off of the team that ran it first. So there was the Viking route. We called the Titan route. There was the Denver route. And so when we got into certain formations, we would yell out, hey, alert, Denver, alert, alert, Viking, Viking. These were things that we would always alert ourselves right now, and it would get us closer to where we need to be. There were a lot of plays, and to me, it's easier to read routes as an inside guy and underneath coverage guy when you're in stacked position.
Yeah.
Both receivers are right there.
Yeah, right in your vision.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about an outside release, inside release. It's all right there. You can take a peek. You can get close to him, and you can feel him. If he starts to go in, you can sprint right now inside to stay underneath. I just see a real big breakdown of fundamental football.
Yeah, so fundamentals, especially you said, hey, stop something. The run, that should be a non-negotiable.
Yeah.
It does not take talent to stop the run. Marinelli said all the time, I can get a guy off the street, to play the run. So a lot of it's just staying in your gap. So many times where it's Jervon Dexter, Andrew Billings, Austin Booker, right, needs to set the edge.
Set the edge.
Peekaboo.
Oh, my goodness.
Did you see TJ run through the gap, then hesitate?
And then hesitate.
And
then got beat.
If you're going to hit it.
Yeah,
and then on that same play, Austin Booker, he's a 9 technique, right? He's over there. It's coming. Let me look inside. Get the edge.
They don't look like a playoff defense.
And then make the ball go inside.
So that's what I wanted to bring up next. Exactly what you just said. The head coach has been talking about good, better, best, and how they're going to play their best football going into January. Well, we're in January now, and I think you can make the same case on offense a little bit in certain areas. I mean, I don't think the quarterback played his best today either. But defensively, this seems to be a longer, more sustained skid that they've been on. Like when Briggs was talking about on these post-game shows halfway through the season about Tremaine Edmonds looking like a Pro Bowler. Yeah. And he was at the time. That wasn't wrong. That seems like it was so long ago.
Right.
If you could have picked one thing that I wouldn't have thought would have fallen off the cliff the way it has, it's the linebacker play. Yeah. And I just don't – I'm not trying to be overly negative going in the playoffs. I just don't see how the defense is going to all of a sudden pick up the pieces and fix this.
Oh. A week ago, we saw two teams that we had a shootout. All right, both teams are going to the playoffs. And if you ask me about the playoffs, I said both teams exposed what's going to keep them or get them kicked out of the playoffs because none of them play defense. Both teams came out this week and didn't put up many points offensively. The Niners got absolutely shut out, from a very good defense.
Right.
There are a lot of good defenses going into the playoffs. So you're going to get to a point where you're going to have good offense as well, but your defense is going to have to outplay the opponent's defense. And right now, the Bears, I don't see them outplaying many defenses right now.
And by the way, the Lions' defense is not one of those good defenses.
No,
they're bad.
They're not.
Right.
Honestly, I don't really even know how to fix this defense. There's too many holes. There's too many holes all over the place, starting with stopping the run. Like, if you can't stop the run, it's hard to win in this league.
Yeah.
So you have to be able to stop that run and then create some pressure up front in the passing game. They're not doing that. And then just bad communication and bad eyes and bad technique. So if you look at this defense and you're trying to correct something, I don't even know where to start to correct it. And we're at a point where we are going into a playoff situation next week. You know, we should be firing on all cylinders on defense, or at least we should be holding our hat on something positive with the defense. And there's nothing right now that I see.
Such, man, you know, Rob Marinelli, I think he affected a lot of us in a lot of ways on a lot of different teams too. But during the season, you know, especially when we were playing at our best during the year, we were number 1, 2, 3 defense, you know, in the league. And he said, this is the time right now where shit starts to creep in because you're feeling yourself, you're reading your you know what I mean, your technique starts to fail a little bit. Yep. We let a play that get away in practice, you know, and this and that. He's like, now is the time where we don't allow yourselves to get bored with your practice. We don't allow the stuff that we see all the time. We're going to get sharper at it. We have to get sharper at our fundamentals and our techniques because that is we're going to have to be able to fall on when we get down the stretch.
Right. Yep. Yeah, you hit the nail on the
head. That's
head.
what I'm seeing right now.
It's the little things.
The little things.
The little things that matter, the effort, right? Jalen Johnson, when he gets beat by Jamison Williams, literally trotting to the ball.
Yeah, throttling it down.
Like, can you imagine doing that in Rob Marinelli's defense? Like, he would chew you out, spit you out. Like, literally, that doesn't happen. But stuff like that's creepy. You're making business decisions on hitting a running back or a wide receiver. That shouldn't happen.
You haven't even been out here the whole year. Come on.
Yep.
He might still be hurt.
Well, then don't be on the field. Yeah. Everybody hurt.
Well, yeah, there's and
it's football.
Yeah, it's just too slow. Is really what it is. It's just too slow. Guys, I'll leave you with
that big bow leg on there.
This nugget from our GM Jake Flanagan, who apparently he knew it was coming today because this is what I woke up to this morning. Was this nugget? If the Bears lose to the Lions, which they did, it would only be the 4th time since the merger a team would win the division with a losing record in the division. And the Bears did finish 2-4 against the NFC North. Wow. The 1971 49ers went 2-4. The 1982 Packers went 1-2 in a strike-shortened season, so that wasn't even a full season. 2010, the Chiefs went 2-4 and won the West. So
that's a bad record to be a part of.
In 2010, you said in 2010?
2010, the Chiefs went 2-4 and they won the AFC West. That's the last team to win a division.
That year, I think they.
The funny thing about that is, every year we have some team that wins a division like 7-9 or 8-8 or 8-9, whatever the adds up to now. And you would think it'd be one of those teams, but here the Bears are with 11 wins, but in a tough division
in the playoffs.
Yep, they're in. They're the 2 seed.
Number 2 seed.
They're the 2 seed. Gut feeling. And I'm sure you guys want to save a lot of this for later too on Brick by Brick, but just gut feeling right now. Bears Packers round 3. What's your confidence level, Zoom?
I'm still very confident.
Okay.
The Green Bay Packers aren't really that great.
Okay.
My confidence is high.
Yeah, okay. I got high confidence. Playing them a third time, you're going to make the adjustments. I think it comes down to the offense starting fast. Because last time they played them, they drove all the way down the field. They had that high snap to Monungai, killed all their progress in that game. Right. So you got to start fast, opening score. I think if you're going to receive right away. If I'm the Bears this time.
Don't take the cheese. There's going to be a lot of cheese out there, all right? These Packers, they make some of the best cheese in the country, probably in the world. But guess what? It's stinky cheese, all right?
So you got to grade it. You know the grader.
Once you see a little bit of that mold on it right there, you got to grade it off.
A lot of cheese grater hats. 0-2 cents. I don't know. All right. Well, a lot more coming with these guys later. Brick by Brick after show with Greg Braggs. If he ever returns, we're actually not sure if he's even alive right now at this point. Hopefully he comes back from the game. If he doesn't, then I'll fill it. I don't know. Or Carman will do it. We'll see if Braggs has survived. We got a lot more coming up, too. We'll hear from Ben Johnson, Caleb Williams, a bunch more sound from the locker room as well. But first, whether it's on the field or in your financial life, the best teams win by delivering excellence at every level. We are thrilled to welcome Old National Bank as a sponsor here to CHGO. And at Old National Bank, they believe that every play matters. From everyday checking to long-term planning and commercial banking, Old National Bank is here to build momentum and help you move the ball forward. Every day I'm driving down here to CHGO, I see that Old National Bank billboard on the Kennedy. Let's get some clever saying. I actually didn't notice what it was today before the Bears game, but it's probably something along the lines of Ben Johnson, you're my hero.
I'm making the switch. I'm going all national. You come over to us. I'm coming over to you. Can't wait.
So whether you're celebrating a win, rebuilding after a tough loss, or gearing up for whatever comes next, Old National Bank has you covered and has your back with tools, guidance, and an expert crew that's always in your corner. Old National Bank, where relationships and results matter. Member FDIC.
And shout out to our friends at Game Day Men's Health. They were at our tailgate today.
Yes, they were.
And I won't name names, but some of our fine people were up there, and they were like, Game Day is going to help me with my performance. And I was like, yes, they will. Yes, they will. They'll take you to the next level, which I was excited to see. And hey, they'll take you to the next level in whatever you want. More energy with testosterone, vitamin supplements, weight loss, hair loss treatments. If you're a guy looking to go next level and you want to do it in less than an hour with personal care, family-owned local health clinics, no place better than Game Day Men's Health. I've been going into their Park Ridge location. I go in, I eat the snacks, I get the personal treatment. The snacks are great, outstanding snacks. They had a great coconut water, some good granola bars for you, some good nuts, and then you get in there, and all of a sudden, Carmen's on the tennis court, and I'm just doing things that I wasn't doing before. Start your best life with Game Day Men's Health. Scan the QR code on the screen. Do it right now, or go to GameDayCHGO.com. GameDayCHGO.com.
All right, so I know the Bears lost, and they've lost 2 in a row, and the vibes aren't exactly great going into the playoffs here.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Was he there? He got a little scared.
The vibes aren't great going into the playoffs. I'm listening. I'm just trying to figure out a Ben Johnson quote here. Go ahead.
Okay. Sometimes you just got to double check.
Yeah.
Steven said look up, and you never did, so I thought
you might have
been.
I didn't hear look up. I did not.
You got another hanger in your sweatshirt?
Admittedly, hanger in the sweatshirt was pregame. Right now, I've got something else that I won't talk about.
Oh.
Don't you worry, Woot. We're okay. What were you saying?
What I was about to say is, by tomorrow, especially by Tuesday, everybody will turn the page. The hype will be back up. Bears, Packers. All right, we got a tailgate. It's our first ever playoff tailgate in CHGO history.
When do we get the game time of this game time? So we know what time to be at the tailgate.
Game time. Woo.
Game time, woo.
Use game time for maybe needing your tickets. I don't know. But the point is, our ticket sales for the tailgate, which based on the last Packer game, which was our biggest tailgate ever, now this is the playoff version versus the Packers. I imagine it's going to be big. You want to get your tickets now. That is for sale. We have opened that up at allchgo.com/events. So go check it out. You'll see the link for next week's tailgate. And even today, even though there was less at stake, it was still a good group and a lot of fun. Tailgates are always fun. So, and yes, it's there in the comments, which Steven has pinned. There's the direct link, allchgo.com/events.
Okay, so we expect 500 people to be there, and we're going to have the greatest time ever, and Braggs is going to do things at the tailgate that he's never done before, so hit the like button for that. All right, before we get to Ben Johnson.
Makes me not want to come.
No, you want to be there.
You're supposed to sell this.
It's going to be awesome.
Hey.
And hopefully he'll return to CHGO at some point with my phone.
I love how you're not worried about him returning. You're worried about the phone returning.
Correct.
He's probably licking all on that thing.
My phone is my lifeline. I'm sending emails to loved ones, letting them know that I'm okay. So that's good. But I wanted to support Greg and CHGO, so he has my phone. But I thought he might be back here before 7:30. Anyway, regardless, Ben not going for it on the 4th and 5 when the Bears had the ball late. Quote, because we had 3 timeouts and thought we were going to get the ball back, said he thought about it. But he didn't because we had 3 timeouts and thought we were going to get the ball back.
Wait, timeout. Oh,
Ben Johnson said not punting.
Okay.
He thought about going. So, and if you go.
So he's essentially saying even if we punt it, they go down and score, we have 3 timeouts, we'll get the ball back, we'll have time.
Because they were on the 30, 35-yard line?
So it was.
I'm fine with
I think that's, even with the Bears' defense and the state it's in, and as much as I've complained about it, I don't.
It was 4th and 5 at their own 31-yard line, just so we're all clear on remembering exactly what the down and distance was. And the Lions end up getting the ball back at that point with a minute 41 to go in the game.
Yeah. I don't get a stop, man. My bigger issue, and we're going to hear from Ben here in a second, I really did not understand the logic and how he handled the end of first half sequence. So there's about a minute on the clock. It's fourth down, clock's running. Carm's sitting there screaming, call timeout, call timeout, call timeout. I kind of defend it, letting the clock run a little, because you don't want the Lions to get the ball back with too much time if you go for it on fourth and don't get it. But they let that thing run all the way down to the point where when the play's over and they don't get it, there's 21 seconds on the clock. So even if Colston Loveland doesn't have that ball knocked out, he catches it. You get the first down. There's 21 seconds, and you're still outside the red zone or right on the verge of the red zone. There's no guarantee. In fact, there's probably not a high likelihood that you're getting a touchdown out of that anyway. You'll probably end up settling for a field goal anyway. So to me, you either trust your fourth down play, you call timeout to run said play, and act like you're going to score a touchdown, right, with the time you have. I probably would have let it run down to about 45 seconds, then call that timeout. Or you just kick the field goal. You let the clock run, then you call timeout, and you kick the field goal. He got caught in between once again. And this, if there's any quibbling with Ben Johnson at all this year as a head coach, it's been him getting caught in between in some of these situations where he's trying to play both sides of it, trying to play the clock game, and he lets too much time come off the clock. And to me, letting that much time off the clock, you're going to kick a field goal anyway. Just kick it then. Or call timeout. It's got to be one or the other. And he kind of failed at both of it in that moment.
Well, and the way I was looking at it, look, you're down 13-0. You need touchdowns now. So give yourself all the time that you potentially need. And look, if your defense can't stop anyone, then you're not going to win the game anyway. So you need a touchdown. Don't run out of time. You can't thread the needle perfectly. And you know what? If you don't get the first down, they go down and score. Well, then you deserve to lose. Yeah. And that's the way it is. And you guys could try to figure out how to come back next week and be better.
I would have called a timeout if I was him. Dial up your play, right? He's this great play caller. You got to feel confident with your fourth down play there, and then try to get in the end zone at that point. Just with how bad the offense have been playing, think about the momentum that could have generated for the Bears if they score a touchdown before half.
Right.
That's the thing. Either trust your play or trust the defense. One or the other. Like, it just seems like you're trying to play both sides because you don't really trust either.
Well, and that's the other side. Like, if you're going to trust the defense to get a stop, then you're not going to go for it on 4th and 5. Well, then, why are you – then you can trust him enough to call timeout at the end of the first half. Why don't we hear from Ben? Let's get him in here. Your head coach of the Chicago Bears after the game. Here is Ben Johnson.
Of note, one was Ty Summers. He had a foot, and then CJ didn't finish the game there with a concussion. So, disappointing to lose that one in that fashion there. Guys were battling. They fought their tails off, but came up short, So, we got to play better. We got to play better going forward. We got to coach better going forward as well. And, we're turning the page, though. We got the number 2 seed. We got a home game next week, and we got a new season on the horizon. And so our guys should be reinvigorated by that. I know I certainly am. I'm looking forward to the opportunity and all that entails, and the opportunity to go 1-0 this next week. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and open it up.
And what about today's performance grabs your attention most?
Yeah, we can't dig ourselves in a hole like that, and was disappointed with the offense as a whole. I let those guys know that, and we'll be better for it. We'll address it. We'll get those things cleaned up, and we'll be better for it.
Ultimately, as you mentioned, this doesn't cost you with seeding. What was your messaging for the guys in there?
That we're quickly turning the page here. Everyone's disappointed. I appreciate, like I said, their effort. Some teams, they rest their starters. We don't. We play football, and and we felt like it was really important that we were playing our best ball here today, and we didn't get that job done. And so we're quickly turning that page, and now we got a home game coming on up, and there's a way to win this next game, and that's what we're going to be solely focused on.
4th and 5 with 1:55 left. Did you consider going for it?
Yes, I did.
Why did you punt?
Because we had 3 timeouts, and we felt like we were going to get the ball back.
And you guys had two games against Green Bay that were just as tight as you could possibly have. How did you feel about the way that series went this season?
The 2 games against, good opponent, and I think we're fairly evenly matched. Got a lot of respect for how well they're coached. I have a lot of respect for the talent level that they have in that building, and I'd expect it to be another exciting game.
And what was your sense for why the offense took as long as it did to get rolling?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's one that we'll have to take a look at the tape and figure out why that was. I didn't feel like it was one of our more elaborate plans. I thought it was one of our simpler plans, and so we need a better job executing it and coaching it up.
Without having a chance to review it, Caleb's interception, what did you see on that?
Yeah, the guy made a heck of a play.
How do you flip the script so quickly to a new season? I mean, this is a brand new season.
Yeah, that's the name of the game here, though. I mean, we're quickly transitioning. We're locked in. The stakes are a lot higher here going forward. We can't afford to have a phase, one of our 3 phases, play like we did today, and so we're going to have to pick it up. And like I said, I get fired up just thinking about it right now, and I know our guys are too.
When you say that one phase, the offense?
Yeah, in particular, I was not pleased with the offense today.
When you say simpler game plan, were you holding back at all?
Nope.
What were you least pleased with offensively when you think about it initially?
The points. Only scored 16.
How much time, Ben, do you even spend correcting this game because you have such a turnaround?
Yeah, but we don't know when we're playing yet, but it's a normal game week, and we always have plenty of time to make our corrections.
And we spent a few weeks talking about Colston and the way he's come on. He's clearly become a big down guy for you. When you're in those moments, 3rd down, 4th down, what have you seen from him that's made him so reliable?
Yeah, he knows what to do. He's got outstanding hands. He works his tail off. He's usually the first one on the practice field. He's usually the last one to leave. And so there's just been an immense trust level, and his route tree has grown accordingly.
DeAndre Swift's season was one of the big success stories for you guys this year. How rewarding was that for you as a coach to kind of make that work and get him back into this mode?
Yeah, no, he had a great year for us, and we're going to need more from him here going forward. So I'm not surprised whatsoever. It's kind of, I think I've been championing that cause every step of the way. I felt from the outside a need to, or a desire to bring more into the running back room, and I felt like our guys were pretty darn strong. Both him and Manungai have turned into a pretty formidable unit there. So he's playing like he's capable of playing, and I think he can take it up even another notch, and we're going to challenge him to do so here going forward.
Defensively, was Sweat fully available and full go at the end of the game, or was he?
Yeah. Our guys were good to go. Yep.
With as fast of a start as you guys got off to in San Francisco, can you pinpoint just kind of what was holding you back in the first half tonight?
Nope. We'll take a look at the tape.
And with that 4th and 5, what's the process there? Obviously, it's very quick of making that decision and coming down on one side or the other.
Yeah, those are things we talk about, and especially coming off a 2-minute warning like that, we got plenty of time to make those decisions.
Did you have any method of monitoring what was going on with the Eagles-Commanders game?
No.
Didn't care?
Nope.
You talked about trying to avoid 2 losses going into the postseason. What do you do this week to flip the script and to get back on track here?
Yeah, I let them know that it's a new season, so we're starting fresh right now, and if we want to make the most out of this new season, we need to go on a 4-game winning streak, which we've done twice already this year. Good. All right, we'll see you.
Woo. Got to go on a 4-game, which we've done twice this year, and I'm really annoyed. And if anybody wants to ask me, I was pissed by our offense. What?
You know what just happened?
The points.
Guys,
okay.
I need to declare something, and this is a big moment. Steven, I think you should put the camera on me.
Ooh. Guaranteeing a victory?
No. What we just heard in that Ben Johnson post-game press conference, I am officially declaring the Ben Johnson honeymoon over. It is over. That man was pissed. He was short answers. His voice literally sounded different, I thought, in there. And he's not happy. He was not afraid to put it on the offense. And it's a new season. He clearly sounds motivated, which was great. But the way he handled that press conference was different than I've heard all year. No, there was no disrespect in there, really, but he had a different tone, a different sense of urgency, and really wasn't putting up with any BS. The honeymoon is officially over.
Kind of seemed like Patrick Finley asking him a question earlier this season. Oh man, but I kind of like this because I feel like after games where they've had a bad performance, they usually bounce back very well. So I think if there's one thing with Ben Johnson, he's going to come ready to play. So I expect him to bounce back, especially against a rival. I think he's going to be ready. He's going to have these guys ready.
It was interesting what he said about Green Bay. A good opponent. We're fairly evenly matched. We have an exciting game coming up, and he left it at that and tried to. And he's got a lot of respect for them. Then he added on. This is one of the simpler plans. We need to do a better job of executing it. We can't have one of the phases play like we did today. The reporters were not completely certain that he was talking about the offense. They're like, are you talking about the offense? Yes, I'm talking about the offense, which is interesting because the defense wasn't that great either, but he was really annoyed by the offense. And then they asked why, and then he said the points. That dude, I don't think he's going to sleep until whenever they play the next game. By the way, I think we do have the return. Well, I know we have the return of Gregory P. Allen Braggs.
I mean,
I'm alive.
It smells different in here.
It does smell slightly different. How's my phone?
I'm alive.
Give him his phone back.
I'm alive. Your phone is alive, and the Bears are still alive. I didn't
There you
lick
go.
your phone.
No licking?
No licking.
I don't want to touch it.
Minor tweeting. Minor tweeting. Shout out to Carm for lending the phone along so we could do a little bit of content. Thought we'd get a little bit more out of it, but obviously there wasn't much for 3/4 of that game. I know Jahns is going to be joining us, so I'll be quick with my assessment of what's going on. But
let's actually hold your assessment. I want to give you the allotted time, if that's okay.
Okay.
I think we should. I think this. Let's go to Jahns, who's at Soldier Field right now and ready to go, and also may have spotted you in the stands.
He did. I was sitting right next to him.
He was sitting close.
I mean, that wasn't a shot. It was just a matter of fact. I was with the peasants, and Jahns was sitting next to Pinley.
That was actually Pat Norton.
Well, it was, yes. I just wanted to make a Pinley
Don't call
joke.
Pat Norton Pinley. He already got mad at me for that once. It was an accident. All right, Johnsy, I know we got a lot to discuss here. One thing, because I don't know how much of you heard or not, but Ben, both at halftime to Aaron Andrews and his postgame presser, mentioned about how this was a simpler game plan, which was part of why he was so disappointed in how they played. He said he let them know that. You were in the locker room, so I'm curious on maybe how that was all received. But I also kind of want to get your reaction, and I'm sure we can talk about it more in depth on Hoge and Jahns tomorrow as well. Just, I want to know why it was a simpler game plan, because it to me that almost sends like a mixed message in that I'm not saying can defend maybe the lack of urgency that they came out with, but I would like more details on why, and not that you necessarily know them. It's just I'm just interested in your reaction to that, because when we heard that at halftime, Woot and I both were like, wait a minute, why? You're either all in this game or you're not.
Yeah, I think we need more answers from Ben Johnson when he's not as, incensed or infuriated as he was after the game. I want to say, Adam, that was the angriest that I have seen him. And I just watched the video. I had heard about it in the locker room afterward from some reporters who were in the room with Ben Johnson that he was angry. Then I heard Caleb Williams was angry. And even just looking back or rewatching what Caleb was saying, I think that's the angriest I've seen Caleb Williams. Like in the locker room, you could feel the frustration. You could hear the frustration. You could see the anger from the players. They wanted to end this regular season and go into the postseason on a high note. But then I think everyone saw it from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams in their post-game interviews too.
I like hearing that. Let's go.
Well, how did it seem to resonate then in the locker room and just in their anger level? Did it reflect the head coach?
No, I think so. I think so. There's a sense of disappointment. One, I think Jaquan Brisker probably put it the best way. Actually, a couple players did. They're playing the Lions. They should have been motivated to play the Lions, especially after what happened in week 2, where they dropped a 50-burger on the Chicago Bears in Detroit. And I think there's this sense in the locker room that the Bears wanted to deliver this win for Ben Johnson facing his former team. I mean, Caleb Williams literally walked into the stadium wearing Ben Johnson's high school jersey. If that's not a message about wanting to deliver this win for their head coach, I don't know what is. So that disappointment in the locker room. Then I think just in general, they wanted to feel good about what they're doing heading into the playoffs. And you got that sense from Kevin Byard. You got that sense from Jalen Johnson. You got that sense from DeAndre Swift, where they're upset that they're going into the playoffs with a 2-game losing streak. One of those games, losing a shootout in San Francisco, where we saw the defense give up a lot of points. And then the other game here at Soldier Field, where you saw the offense only score 16 points when Ben Johnson clearly wanted a lot more than that.
So, Johnsy, on the offensive side of the ball, you look at what the Bears have done well consistently all year running the football. You look at this game, 16 carries between Monangai and Swift. Is any concern of that in the game plan? Like, especially it's a 2-score game, it's still tight, them not really trying to get the running game going?
I think they did. And I just wonder if it wasn't working to the level that Ben Johnson had confidence in it to consistently deliver the yardage that he was seeking on some plays. I thought the Detroit defense, for as banged up as they are, for as maligned as they are this season, they played really well against the Chicago Bears. That's probably the part of the frustration you're hearing from Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, where they probably thought going into this that they should be able to exploit some of the injury situations on the Lions defense. So it's another one of those games where you're wondering why there's not more carries by the end of it. And I think we'll get more answers later this week from Ben Johnson after he goes through the film. And he's not as hot as he is in his post-game interview.
Johnsy, we played Kevin Byard earlier, and I thought it was interesting him talking about, them getting beat sort of one-on-one by some really good, fast players. We get it. And he's like, he said it, credit to him. He's like, we know it's coming. So, we got to play better and stop it. I know you talked to Jaquan Brisker as well. This has sort of been a theme now, whether it was the Packers running away from some of these Bears defensive backs in one-on-one coverage, whether it was the Diggs and getting high load last week in San Francisco. There was a little bit of both of that today now against the Lions. What did you learn from talking to these guys? And I know we got Brisker to play too if you want to go to it.
Yeah, I think we should play Brisker, but I think right now the book is out on the Chicago Bears, that they are beatable over the middle of the field if you get them in the right coverage, specifically man coverage. And if that defensive line, which has been up and down all season, doesn't deliver some pressure, then you should be able to take advantage of these defensive backs, again, over the middle of the field. So if you want to play Brisker, I think he explains this pretty well about what happened here against the Detroit Lions tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be another tough game, rival game. They got great offense, but we got to get after them as a defense. We just got to get on the same page, do what we got to do, take ball away, get stops, get the ball back to Caleb in the offense, let them do what they do, and try to get turnovers, really. So just play our type of defense.
Jalen said that they kind of used their strength against you, getting a lot of stuff in the middle of the field, their offense against your defense. Why was that? Why were they able to get away with that so easily, it seemed like?
We're playing a whole bunch of man today. No help in the middle. A lot of, picks, rubs. Really they schemed us up, and, we just had to do a better job covering. They just get us in the right call. They just out-schemed us, really. Just be honest.
Did it feel flat? First half feel flat to you?
I was turned, but
everybody else.
Let me see. Yeah, it was 13-0. Yeah, it was flat. To me, it was flat. We was at home. It was flat. Yeah, think about it. Yeah, it was flat. It was bad. We was at home, playing against Detroit. I would thought, they beat us 52-21 last time. Obviously, Ben just came from there. I think we'd be a lot more motivated, but it came out flat, like you said.
Do you think some of that was creeping in to the playoffs, kind of creeping into your mindset, kind of looking ahead as a unit?
As a unit?
Yeah. Just honestly.
No. I feel like everybody want to get the win. We know what was at stake. We're really trying to keep the number 2 seed and try to win. And obviously, like I said, we got beat by 52-21 to these boys earlier. And, Ben came from there. And I just feel like, we were motivated enough, to win today after what happened week 2. Yeah.
emphasize just how good the red zone defense was by and large, but where everything else went wrong. How do you?
I feel like the red zone defense was pretty good today. We held them to 3 points. Almost had a couple turnovers in the red, but that's a good offense stopping them down there in the red, and obviously kept us in the game to the end, and we just didn't get it done. But I feel like the red zone defense was pretty good.
You've been waiting.
All right, so there's Jaquan Brisker, and they out-schemed us. That was an interesting answer, I thought, Johnsy, because there's probably some truth to that. There was also a lot of one-on-one, just guys getting beat, I thought, at the same time. So what did you make of all that? You were there.
Well, that's part of the scheme. It's finding those matchups and exploiting them. And what I thought of in the moment was the last time the Bears said similar things, and that was against the Green Bay Packers at Lambeau Field, where they felt after that game that they had, it was Jaquan Brisker talking, it was Kevin Byard talking, where they felt like the Packers, who the Bears are about to see here in a week, had the right answers for their defense that night in Lambeau Field. Obviously, Dennis Allen adjusted, and they were better in the rematch, but I don't know, guys. I mean, like, how do you feel about that, Corey? You've played this game. When you hear a player say they were out-schemed heading into the playoffs, like, that can't be a good feeling right now in the locker room.
No, not at all, because you're playing the blame game at that point. At the end of the day, I feel like they've had good schemes put together, but at the end of the day, you have to go out there and execute. And Lance and Jerry, we're on here talking about the different things that we've seen from Amon-Ra, St. Brown all year, Jameson Williams, some of the crossing routes, and they know it's coming, but they're not getting their hands on him or they're playing soft in the coverage. So at the end of the day, I guarantee Dennis Allen had a great game plan, but it's about them going out there and executing. And we've talked about this. This Bears team looks significantly slower than what we saw about 8 weeks ago.
Yeah,
they look like a slow team. They're playing off people. They're not hustling, right? Jalen Johnson making business decisions out there. Jameson Williams beats him. He's jogging to the football. There's a running back coming. He kind of over there makes a business decision not to put his shoulder in there. So stuff like that is creeping in, and that's something that we were talking about on Players Only.
Johns, what do you think they go ahead? I'm sorry, answer that.
I was going to say, I don't think Jalen Johnson is healthy. I don't think he's where he wants to be physically. Now, he did meet with the media afterwards, but again, like before this game and really since his return, he's been going through these extensive, I want to call them workouts, to try to get back up to speed where he's feeling good physically. And I'm not making excuses for him, Corey, but I just think, like, you see some of his, I don't want to say, it's not lack of preparation. He's just not feeling like himself. He's not where he needs to be physically to be the difference maker that he expects himself to be every single time he takes the field.
So I couldn't agree with you more on that, but I think as a player and the coaching staff, they need to come together and say, listen, the way he's playing right now, let's go with Tyreek Stevenson.
Yeah, you got drafted a guy in the second round.
Exactly.
He's not even playing.
And I understand.
Were you guys I was surprised he didn't play especially after the play you just talked about, Corey. Yeah. We're talking here in the press box. Like, I'm surprised number 29 hasn't taken the field. Like, at least get him some opportunities here going to the playoffs, because right now it looks like you might need Tyreek Stevenson in some capacity.
Yeah, because I feel like if you look at the secondary as a whole, right now the weakest link right now it was one of your best players before, and he's just not healthy. So I feel like they should go with Tyreek Stevenson unless Jalen Johnson gets significantly healthier by this time next week.
Do we know if he was healthy? Like, Tyreek's been
Stevenson?
Tyreek.
Yeah. I mean, it's honestly, since the illnesses have hit Alice Hall, it's hard to keep track of who's dealing with what, because new names keep popping up there. But I was surprised they didn't do the rotation more. Usually we take note of that at some time during the game. So I'm interested to see what the snap counts are. Maybe we missed something out there, but usually in terms of Jalen Johnson's activity, he's been coming in and out for certain series, as whether it's Tyreek Stevenson coming in or Deshaun Wright in some way, shape, or form takes the field more.
Well, my intuition is that was a hip injury that knocked him out last time. I just wonder if that's something like he needs, to have assessed in the offseason or something like that, because you don't have to be on the injury report if you're participating in all your snaps.
Right, I got
it.
Right?
So
that's what I'm saying.
But the fact that he isn't on the injury report and Jalen Johnson isn't on the injury report anymore, and one looks like a shell of himself and the other one's not playing, is very, very, very confusing. And I actually, to defend Jaquan Brisker a little bit too, I gave Dennis Allen a lot of credit earlier in the season for the adjustments he was making, and on a week-to-week basis figuring this all out. Now they're just playing the same. Like I'll say this for like the fourth week in a row. I don't understand why DeMarco Jackson doesn't play more. He's faster than the other two linebackers. I get the other two get paid a lot of money, and they basically their contracts add up to $100 million or whatever it is. One of the dudes is faster. And they lack speed right now. I don't get it. I do not get it. And these are the adjustments that if I was a player out there, I would start to be wondering why my defensive coordinator is just running the same thing out there over and over again. So while I don't like to hear it, I also understand where Jaquan Brisker's coming from.
And the other part of this conversation, have you talked about C.J. Gardner-Johnson's injury? He did not look good coming off the field, and he did not look good later in the locker room where he was having a long discussion with head trainer Andre Tucker. So I know Ben Johnson, unless I missed it, I don't think he provided a full update. I'm sure that'll come later this week. Yeah, so it doesn't look good or feel good. Just what I'm seeing in the locker room from C.J. Gardner-Johnson. He looked honestly like he was in pain as he moved through everybody to get to his stall.
What about Cole Kmet, who took that big hit on the two-point conversion?
Did not see him, which is another alarming thing. Usually in my experiences, when you see the players in the locker room, that's usually a positive sign. But when he's not there initially and doesn't return whatsoever, and usually a member of the training staff comes and gets his stuff out of his locker to take to him where he's getting treatment or he's somewhere else resting, that's not a good sign either. And we know Cole, like the first game he missed in his entire career, right, was earlier this year with a concussion. We saw him holding his head in the end zone after making that two-point conversion.
We're going to play Caleb after you get out of here, Johns, in a second, but can you just rewinding back and finishing up with this, what did you see from Caleb again in the locker room?
So, no, what I saw, I watched the press conference, and I think you guys will see how fiery and upset he is with his performance, with everyone's performance in this game. It was some of the shortest answers that he's delivered, I want to say, yet so far. You could see the anger. You could hear the anger in his voice. So, interested to hear your thoughts after you guys play him.
Okay. Johns, this game is basically opened up as a pick-em as we let you go. Gut feeling, what's your confidence level in the Bears bouncing back against the Packers in round 3?
I think they could use this anger to their advantage. I hope Ben Johnson can. I think it's another test of everything that Ben Johnson has kind of installed culture-wise and even scheme-wise, especially after what he said about this being a simpler game plan against the Detroit Lions. Who knows? Maybe he didn't want to put any extra stuff on film for the Packers to figure out. Maybe the Bears just used a bunch of old stuff. But anyway, you would think that the Bears would have the right mindset come Wednesday when they really flip the page. It's the Green Bay Packers. If they were flat today, I can't imagine that game being flat whatsoever once the opening kickoff happens, whenever that game time is settled. Have they decided when that game is? I would think it's Saturday or Sunday night.
After the Sunday night,
my guess is they announced it at halftime of the Sunday night game or after the game.
Yeah, they said it'll be after the game.
Okay. What a bunch of selfish.
I would bet Sunday night.
You going Sunday night? I'm going same late afternoon window.
Yeah, I'm gonna go 3:25.
Yeah, I bet Sunday 3:30.
3:30. Okay.
They love the Packers in that window, and now they seemingly love the Bears in that window too.
Johnsy, great stuff all day, my brother.
See you, boys.
There he is, Adam Jahns. Great stuff, and we will have Hoge and Jahns for you live at 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Greg.
Yep.
Thank you for bringing Carm's phone back.
Thank you.
But also, no thank you for leaving me here with him stressing out about how he didn't have his phone all day. It was horrible.
Stress that bad.
My brother was supposed to bring us food, and he didn't know. I was like, man,
that part I forgot about. I felt bad for the Dave Carman thing. Before we get to Caleb,
I was going to give.
You go ahead.
I was going to give Greg an opportunity to react to.
Well, I just want to know what it was like in the stadium. What do you got over there? You had a whole day. You haven't shared anything. Give us something.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to join the program. How we doing, ladies and gentlemen? I thought I did a phenomenal job in that Jahns interview. Thank you very much. But I would just, for me, I think I'm kind of where I was at a few weeks ago. I do think there has to be a bigger picture perspective on being grateful for the chips falling where they went. Once the Bears' miracle against the Packers, the midway miracle occurred. And then from that point on, nothing has gone right for the Bears in a lot of ways until that final moment where the Commanders beat the Eagles. Because up until that point, you trying to get a 1 seed, that falls short. Carolina can't beat Seattle. You can't beat the Niners. The Rams lose to the Falcons. And everything's setting up where you're like, man, they're going to lose the 2 seed, right? And then the Commanders come through at the end. So now this is an opportunity for this Bears team to reset. And I thought Ben Johnson was, like you guys talked about, perfect in his postgame presser. I'm excited to hear from Caleb as well because it doesn't matter. Take everything off the table. This team won 11 games this year. They earned the NFC North Championship. By hook or by crook, they cannot have that ever taken away from them. This is now the second division in modern NFL history to have all 4 teams in the division with a winning record. The only other time was in 2023 in the AFC North, and then the outlier was like 1935 in the Chicago Cardinals. It were like one of the 4 teams with a 5-2 record.
Great
so I don't
team.
count that one.
Love the Cardinals of that
Yeah,
year.
great year.
Go South
Great
Side.
year. But my point is, the Bears won one of the toughest divisions in NFL history. That's a statistical fact. And so, yes, this is not a great way to go into the playoffs, but I think this is an opportunity for the Bears to look at what they've done wrong offensively and defensively over the last 2 weeks and see if they can figure these things out. And lo and behold, you get round 3 against Green Bay, who in my opinion is a team that you can not only squeak one by, but you can beat if you do your job. And so they have everything in front of them. They take care of business next week. Now you have earned a second home game because you earned that 2 seed because other teams couldn't get the 2 seed. Why the Eagles rest of their starters? Beyond me. More power to them. But all I know is the Bears have had times this year where they've gone on runs, and so I look forward to the Bears bouncing back here next week against the Green Bay Packers and then going on a run here in the playoffs. Anything can happen, and I'm happy for everything that's happened this year, and now we have an opportunity here in the playoffs to do something special.
I got a few follow-ups for you because I think it is a fair point about bringing up how tough the division was, and that's a great stat that everybody finished with a winning record. The other 3 teams had 9 wins each.
Crazy.
It is crazy. Unfortunately, great division. You have to play the team that finished second next week. So the argument is it's a great division. You've got a tough first-round matchup there. And do you not care that they only went 2-4 in that division? Because I do care.
It's not that I don't care. Of course, I would have preferred them to, win more games than division. But again, having a bigger picture perspective of what happened this year, the Bears could have missed the playoffs today. If things had gone wrong the last couple, right after the Midway Miracle, you had the Lions lose to the Steelers and to the Vikings. Wasn't supposed to happen. They were 7-point favorites in both those games. And then the Packers lose at home to a backup quarterback. And if those things didn't occur, we're talking about the Bears being eliminated today. And so instead, now they have won the NFC North. They get a home game in the playoffs. That's the NFL. And so I never underestimated the Lions going into this game. And, for whatever the game plan was, that does surprise me hearing Ben Johnson's approach to this one. But regardless, now it's time to buck up. Now it's time to stop screwing around. Now it's time in certain moments. Let's get to our bread and butter and run the football. I don't know what's going on with the run game here, especially in this game. Detroit, I guess, had a good game plan. But they need to get back to the dominant force that this run game was, that we saw in Philadelphia halfway through the year, where you had Ben Johnson ripping his shirt off. That's the kind of tenacity we need to see. The first 3 quarters of this game were unacceptable. They looked like they were laying down. And then what did the Bears do? They did what they've done so many times this year and pulled some magic. And Caleb Williams had 4 big-time throws, 2 touchdowns, 2 two-point conversions, and now they have an opportunity. They keep wearing these opportunity hats. Now they have an opportunity to go into Soldier Field here next week, round 3. And I'll take Ben Johnson all day when it comes to the coaching chess match when you have to face a team for a third time.
Well, to your glass half full point, and by the way, I basically made that point as we started the show that I'm just not going to be down on a team that won the division, is 11-6, is the 2 seed, and they have the Green Bay Packers coming in here. It's a phenomenal season.
For the record, no one's down on the Bears.
I'm not saying that
I'm down on their Super Bowl hopes.
Yeah,
those are two different things.
I
am ecstatic at how this year has played out and what the future holds. But the last couple weeks have been alarming because I started to get on the track of, well, maybe they can get all the way there. I love that Ben said, hey, look, we've won 4 in a row twice this year. You didn't win 4 in a row against the likes of the teams you're going to have to go up against here all in a row to get there. And I'm not ruling them out because they got Iceman and they could pull it out. But I think there's some very alarming things here about if they're realistically thinking that they can make a run to Santa Clara.
Yeah, and I'm not even – Santa Clara might as well be,
Botswana.
Botswana. There you go.
I can complete a sentence.
Thank you so much. Well, I was going to go with cute. I was going to go Uranus, but I stopped. But I stopped.
You're going to go where?
Where? Whoa. Then Pluto, but that's not a planet. Anyway, the point is that, listen.
Pluto should be a planet.
I want them, my personal desire to end this season, to get to the pure gravy point of the season, beat Green Bay. Let's not, I will be disappointed even in a great year if they go out next week. I don't want to, that's not how I want to see it. I'd like them to get through the Packers. And then from there, no problem, whatever happens. But I'll still celebrate them, even if that went. But it would feel a whole lot better if they beat Green Bay next week. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, and then we have all week to kind of talk about how Greg labels this game. I think if you beat Green Bay, then it would be house money from that point on, but not this week against Green Bay. One little hypothetical for you, though.
A hypothetical?
Yeah. Would you feel better had the Bears rested everybody this week and had a rematch against the 49ers at home versus losing to the Lions, playing everybody, possibly losing C.J. Gardner-Johnson and Cole Kmet, but having to play Green Bay instead? After what you saw the last 24 hours, including last night's 49er game.
Oh, man. I think it's pretty close. I really do. I mean, I could have seen a vision of how they could have won either game because it's in Chicago, and I don't think it's going to be a 42-point shootout like we saw in San Francisco if that had ended up being the matchup. But ultimately, I've said it for the last couple of weeks, the team you want to play number one is Green Bay. Not just because they're your rivals, not just because it's the third time, because they are the most beatable team of the options you had. And now they have a chance to take that team. And yes, Green Bay is... They're doing the same thing on their podcast. They are elated. They're playing the Bears.
I have 25 text messages telling me about how the Packers are favored.
Good.
Should be.
Good.
Yeah.
Good. And you know what? If they beat them, if the Packers beat them, so be it. But if the Bears do their job at home next week, they can not only squeak one by Green Bay like they almost did in 2 games. Obviously, they found their way in 1. But I think they can beat them handedly. But I do think that there needs to be a little bit of a reconciliation. And I think, as much as we are always going to defer to Ben Johnson and everything he's brought to this organization, so I'm not questioning him when I bring this up. But when you get an interception from Kevin Byard, you know what I was yelling in the stadium with 2 minutes and 11 seconds left, right?
Run the ball.
Run the ball. Dan Campbell had just screwed around and did exactly what he showed you the blueprint of screwing up. He threw it 3 times. All of a sudden you get an intentional grounding. Now you're throwing an interception. He gifted you that. And to me, it just baffled me how you don't go to what you have been elite at all year. It's fine. Ben can do whatever he wants. He's 1,000 times smarter than me. But it just will, for me, I am going to hope against hope that once we get to the playoffs, we're going to get back to the identity that drove them to the 11 wins, and that's run the football. You talk about San Francisco. How did Seattle beat San Francisco? It wasn't to go in a 42-point shootout with them. It was run the football. Obviously, they have a much better defense. So I understand the outlier. But at the end of the day, they played keep away, run the football.
To play devil's advocate, though, and this is one of my, if you're telling me, Hoge, list your 3 biggest concerns going into the playoffs, on that list is that the Bears haven't been running the ball as well. That they're no longer elite at it. They're okay. But last week, San Francisco at times stopped the run. And today, for a large part, the Lions did stop the Bears' running
Absolutely.
game. And so
But
I still generally agree with you that I would like to see a run there in that situation. Also, if Caleb puts that ball not so hot, has a tiny bit more touch on it, I think Luther Burden catches it and probably picks up 20 yards. Mm-hmm. So, the players got to execute too. I wonder if, because we know how much Ben wants to run the ball, I wonder how much his own frustration with not being able to do that at times actually factors into his play calling at times.
And you talked about play calling. A lot of 13 personnel, right, early on wasn't really working. So they've had a lot of success from different formations. So I wonder coming out against the Packers, right, if he's going to do more 11 personnel or things like that, less tight ends or maybe 12 even.
And sorry for cutting you off, but that's another one of my concerns, Wood. I'd like to hear your thought on this. How many wide receivers does he trust right now? You're running out of wide receivers you trust. Rome's out. DJ, I don't know what's going on there, but he's just not the same guy. OZ is kind of clearly gone in the doghouse. Basically, it's the upcoming of Luther Burden right now and Jahdae Walker, who as good as he's performing at times,
Colston.
you can also watch the tape and realize he doesn't 100% know what he's doing on half his routes. So I think he's probably frustrated with the wide receiver group as a whole. That's another one of my concerns going into the playoffs.
And I agree with you that that both the Niners and the Lions did a good job of stopping the run. But that being said, that's your recipe. So by hook or by crook, you got to figure it out, because the last 3 games, including that Packers game where you found a way at the end, you're getting dominated in amount of plays per team and time of possession. And the Bears that's been their formula all year. If you don't do that, you're going to be chasing your tail. So go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, no, I was going to say a lot of these running schemes, when we saw them at their peak in the running game, right, is these motions, right, to create these mismatches where guys have to choose on who they're going to cover. And I think a lot of that he's gotten away from that. Some of those creative zone reads and things like that where, he sends the motion this way, gets guys off balance.
It's interesting you say that, because my hunch is, without having watched the tape, obviously, when we hear Ben say this was a simpler game plan today, I think that's what he means. I think there was fewer things that Caleb had to deal with at the line of scrimmage pre-snap. I don't know why. He also got a good follow-up question from Jason Leisure, if that meant like you're holding things back for the playoffs, and he flat out was like, no. I don't know.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. But I also, again, this is just kind of my hunch watching the game. I feel like there was a little bit of a regression from Caleb today, pre-snap. Maybe it's the checks. At one point, you thought they ran the ball the wrong way based on what the formation was. I think that was very possible. My guess is that's what Ben Johnson means when he's frustrated with this was a simpler game plan and it wasn't executed. That's my thought. So now I'm curious to hear from the quarterback.
Yeah, why don't we get there? Let's get Caleb up here. Hit the like button, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel, you like football content or any Chicago sports content, hit that subscribe button as we start our trek towards 200,000 subscribers. Damn it, thank you to everybody who supported us thus far. Caleb Williams, after the ball game, Bears lose to the Lions 19-16.
Let's get it going.
Caleb Ben expressed his disappointment in the slow start offensively.
Yep.
Take on why the thing didn't click in until the fourth quarter.
Don't know exactly. Got to go back and watch. I think we came out a little flat maybe energy-wise, and I think we got to do a better job of that, having urgency from the jump and getting that going.
On the whole, what's your takeaway of today's performance, the way it was kind of seesaw?
Yeah, not good enough. Not good enough to win this game, not good enough to win, the upcoming games. And so we got to get better, all sides of the ball. But speaking on offense, whatever happens on the other side of the ball, it's not something that we can control. So we have to control what we can, and we got to come out starting fast, being better, and we'll do that here coming up.
What's the feeling now as you look at the postseason, trying to put these 2 games behind you and bounce back and wins?
What?
In terms of as a team putting these games behind you now, new season, as Ben Johnson said.
Yeah, it's something you have to do. It's something that you have to do during the regular season. Something you have to do now at this moment. We're going to a new season, and you can't dwell on the past, but you got to find ways to correct what you did in the past, and through the losses.
Ben said the message is gonna be you guys need to go on a 4-game win streak.
Yep.
Twice before. How
Yep.
do you carry that message to the rest of the locker room?
Yeah. You get up tomorrow, you come in, you watch film, you do whatever you have to do treatment-wise, body-wise, whatever whatever. We have a month left, and we need to, as a team, have that mindset, and we will, I believe.
Caleb, you got the ball back in a tie game. It's a place you guys have been a lot this year. What's your thoughts on the last series and just how it unfolded for you?
We got to execute, whether that's me getting the guys at the huddle, getting at the line, making checks, whether that's protection, whether that's running the ball, whether that's catching the ball, whether that's not jumping up, penalty. Like it's us playing the ball that we need in those crucial moments, and we've been better throughout the season, and we gotta get back to that.
Caleb, the Green Bay series has been very interesting during your 2 seasons here. How do you feel about playing them in the playoffs next year?
Yeah, feel good. Feel good about anybody, whoever, whatever position we were going to be in, whatever position we're in now. I feel good about us versus anybody, and I'll keep carrying that mindset throughout the weeks.
Caleb, there's a heightened level of aggravation, obviously, after a game like this. How do you describe what that is?
I don't really have a. It's aggravating. It's frustrating. And the good thing about it is, we're going into the playoffs here, and we got to find ways to be better. The focus has to level up. The urgency has to level up. The play has to level up. The mindset, mentality on the field has to level up, because that's what playoff football is.
You touched on pass to Jahdae.
Yep.
On that play?
Yeah, safety bit on. I don't know who was on the right side exactly at that moment, but safety bit on the receiver on the right side. Had Jahdae going over top, and just read it out. Went through my reads, and Jahdae did a great job.
If you've answered this already, I'm sorry. To get the franchise passing record, I know you're frustrated right now. Do you have any appreciation for what it is?
No, need to win the game. Didn't want to leave it up to another team to put us in the seeding that we wanted to be in. And I don't know what the case happened with that game, but we didn't execute the way we needed to. And so that number is the number, and so be it.
Trust you built with Colston. I know you've talked about it a lot this year. What did you see from him on that the touchdown drive, and both Cole there on the 2-point conversion?
Yeah. What did I throw to Colston? The Cole one, great job scrambling. I ended up seeing him passing off the. We had a kind of a man play lined up, and those the defense ended up passing off the routes, and so got out the pocket. Cole did a great job finding space and just delivering him a ball.
I think it was 12 targets for Colston.
Yeah.
As a whole, what did you see from him in some of the critical downs, the 4th downs early, 3rd downs?
Yeah, I got belief and faith in all our guys, but just speaking on him is. He's done a great job, since we've been together, and we got to keep that going. We got to keep growing. We got to have this open communication that I always talk about to be able to have these moments, where we can, click and all the guys can click and come out victorious.
Caleb, you ran the majority of your plays out of that 2 tight end set.
Yep.
Today. Was that more of a matchup thing, or was that something that you guys have identified with this offense as a strength?
I think it's a week-to-week thing. We line up in whatever we can gain an advantage in, and so we thought that was going to be our advantage, today, and we got to go out there and execute.
What did you see on the pick?
On the pick, had enough space. Guys did a great job blocking for me. Saw DJ have the corner tried to get back, but he couldn't get back, and saw DJ cross face and thought he won, and then I threw him a one-on-one ball with the safety, and from there it just trust my guy, and those moments are gonna happen, and I'm gonna keep throwing those passes and trusting the guys.
Ben said this was one of your guys' simpler game plans. Does that make it a little more frustrating that you weren't able to execute the way you wanted?
Yeah, and I don't know.
All right.
I was trying to say I wanted to hear that. Sorry. Yeah, I know you had already pressed the button.
Disappointment in the slow start offensively.
Yep.
Take on why.
Oh, good.
Okay.
Little technical difficulties with the.
I gotta be honest. I was expecting a little more fire and brimstone from the anger side, but
maybe
it's fine that he doesn't.
Maybe it was on the back end. I mean, he was getting ready to talk about his frustration. I don't know. I mean, John said it, but yeah.
I'm sure it's whatever. Listen, he can't be happy. They lost the game. It's a disappointing ending. What were you going to say, Hoge?
No, I just I agree. I
puts the football to his face.
Yeah,
and
well,
that's when you know that things have gone awry.
I want to slam my head against this football a little bit. Great kick by Cairo, though, the 1 yard line. I got really into that play.
Yeah, that's what
nice.
you. That's
That
what
was
you
nice.
missed. That's what you missed here.
King Cairo.
Yeah, I stood up. I literally got out of my chair, was pointing at the TV like, that's 20-yard line, 20-yard line. And it didn't matter because the defense
No, I mean,
can't stop
it's
it.
just, I'm not going to just continue to try to paint silver lining after silver lining. It's not a bit.
Yes,
but-
you are.
No, I mean, I do.
I know it's not a bit.
It's not a bit. I mean, but for them to play as ugly as they did and for Caleb to bounce back the way he did in the fourth quarter at the end of the third quarter, that throw to Jahdae Walker, the Iceman cometh, I get the whole thing. But the reality is, I mean, those were some big-time throws. That 2-point conversion to Cole Kmet, that was big time. That's all Caleb Williams, extending the play, being patient, and throwing a dart. Great catch by Cole as well. So, I mean, he answered the moment there, and then they fall short. I know you were just showing the clip to Ben Johnson saying, I should have gone for it. And I do find that interesting because it isn't second-guessing by me, and you can ask my good friend Sam Fatigato. We were sitting in the stands.
Fatigato?
Fatigato. We were sitting there in the stands, and as they were lining up and trying to decide, there was like a little bit of a delay. I was saying to go for it. And it wasn't just, you want to go for it because you want to get it and extend the drive. But my other aspect of it is then if you don't get it, now they're at the 30 and you have 3 timeouts and they're going to maybe they try to ice
score
you
faster.
Well, no, right.
Right. Like,
Maybe they try. Maybe they try to go for
time on the clock.
Right.
He's saying they're going to run 3 plays, kick the field goal, you get it back, you have a shot to at least tie the game.
Correct.
Yeah. I got it.
That was my mindset on it. And what's interesting, and I've never had this really happen to me before at a Bears game. I found it really fascinating.
Chris Emma threw something at you from the press box?
No, he did not.
Okay.
But we had the phone out, and at the exact same time, we're watching Sam's. He had Red Zone on. So at the exact same time that they're deciding whether to punt or go for it, the Washington Commanders are running in for a touchdown, Josh Johnson, to take the lead 24-17 with 2 minutes left. And I was talking to him like, I know they're not paying attention to this, but if they were, would that have changed his decision?
Like more likely to go for it? There?
Right, because at that point, it didn't look like it would matter.
Yeah.
And so I found that really interesting. And then I was like, so then my whole thought process was like, so do you go for it to simulate this huge pressure cooker moment for your quarterback, or do you kick it to simulate the moment for the defense that has struggled over the last 2 weeks to stop anybody and see if they can get a crucial stop heading into the postseason?
I would hope that they're not playing it like that way, like it's out there. Like what are you going to do? And we don't need any simulation here. It's week 18. Like you're.
But it did feel like the last couple weeks have been a playoff preseason. That's like how, and that's why I was so relieved when they clinched the division and clinched their playoff spot, because I did kind of anticipate that they were going to have to work through something. You have that high of high, and there's a drop off there, right? And so if they had rested their starters today, maybe they don't learn as much about maybe they can't fix what they need to fix, but now they know how they're going to be attacked, and now they can try to come up with a game plan to stop it.
Well, the one silver lining, spin zone, whatever you want to call it, that I will buy, and because you kind of have to, and Johnsy kind of alluded to this too, is in some ways I'm a little happy that they didn't get that miracle Iceman thing again, because then you just go to the playoffs like feeling like you can rely on that.
False sense of reality.
You know what I mean? And I realized like last week they didn't get it either, but they did, because they still got down to the end zone and it came down to one play. The fact that like that whole opportunity was sort of ripped from them today a little bit, and they started so slow, I think it is a giant wake up call.
It is.
Like you can't live that way throughout the playoffs. You're going to have to put together 4 quarters of football if you're going to realistically make a run here.
If they're going to be contender with the way the defense is, the offense is going to have to carry things. They're going to have to start fast. They're going to have to rely on the running game, play that time of possession, be able to put the ball in the end zone and score some points. That's the only way that they're going to continue, survive, and advance in this playoffs. They have to.
But it's complementary football, right? I mean, when you talk about the defense not being able to get off the field, well, the offense is going 3 and out. So they're feeding into each other's problems, because the defense is out there way too long, and then before you know, they're out there again. The offense is rusty because they're sitting on the sidelines for 8 minutes a drive, and this has been going on for 3 games now. So you can't really work yourself into a rhythm either. You know, obviously the Niners game was obviously an outlier for the offense, but still, my point is, you know, they have to play complementary football as best as they can, and for whatever reason, the light always turns on in the second half, and how do they get that light to turn on?
Well, the only thing real quick was with the defense. I mean, up until that last drive, they only let up 16 points. So as bad as they played, you keep a team, even to 19 points, you got to like those odds with the way the offense has been playing this year, the amount of points they've been putting up, right?
Yeah, right. When you look at the pure points, it's like, you can't really say it was the defense's problem. However, the time of possession was definitely had an impact on the Bears' offense and their ability to put up points. But the Bears also, listen,
you're playing with fire a little bit, though, because like the Green Bay game, you held them to whatever you held them to, right? But they were 0 for 5 in the red zone. Well, that chicken came home to roost against San Francisco. If you're just going to let teams move up and down the field on you, it's only a matter of time before they break through and get in the end zone. This defense has got to figure out how to get a 3 and out, for the love of God.
Well,
I'm with you, man. I would
1 3
I
and
would
out.
almost say win the toss, take the ball, try to go on a long drive.
It'll be interesting to see how they what they dial up as far as the secondary is
Similar
concerned.
drive to that first one.
If CJ Gardner-Johnson can't go, I think that'll get a lot of attention, but that doesn't freak me out that badly. He's been poor in coverage, and you have some options there. What you do? Where's Tyreek, and what are you going to do with Jalen? And is Kyler healthy? Those are some big questions this week.
Yeah, I got a lot of questions. All right, we are almost getting to 2 hours, so we got to get to brick by brick. We have plenty of super chats, and before we get out of here, I want to predict the playoff games, which I will do super fast. But let's get to supers. We always go our rules for the post-game show. As always, we cannot get to all of them. We cannot read all of them.
But we will get Carm's yawn in there.
They all reach the screen. They are on the screen throughout the show. They probably already have been, but we do read the big money super chats, which are always presented by Toyota. Toyota, I can say that. Shout out to Toyota. Nutella Happens. $50. Says DJ, 13th highest paid receiver in the league, 48th in receiving yards. Montez, the 12th highest edge paid, 14th in sacks. When y'all going to get on DJ for his performances like with Montez? Hoge, too sure doesn't equal E, so show that energy to 2.
Okay, so we don't have to.
When you're going to come attack me, make some sense. I don't know how to respond when I can't read it.
I can't even understand what it's supposed to mean.
Also, we've been on to. I don't know what show you've been watching. We've been questioning DJ Moore all season.
All right, calm down.
No.
Yes, Nutella. Thank you for the $50. Very nice of you. We have outlined many times that DJ needs to play better, and that we've been confused that with the injuries, especially when Rome's been out, that DJ's numbers have not come up more. And then they did in the Green Bay game, and he had the biggest catch of the season, and we celebrated him. And last week, I personally did not go at him at all because of the Green Bay catch. Today,
I didn't go after him because he was sick.
And he was sick.
Yeah.
Good point there. Today, on the throw where Caleb was picked up, I did not think he gave a great effort. It was poor. He should have at least tried to knock the ball down, if not knock the ball down, if not make the greatest catch ever. I don't know what was going on today, but it was not his best day.
Yeah, Nutella Happens. Check out my Twitter because I tweeted that in the moment.
Thank you, Nutella Happens.
Is there a guy open coming across underneath that?
The tight end looked like he
Smythe,
may have been open
right?
to the
Smythe
other
was-
side. I'd have to watch the whole
Yeah,
play.
he was open.
No, Durham Smythe was wide open. A
I
lot
didn't-
of quarterbacks would have just thrown the ball to Durham Smythe right in front of him for 20 yards.
DJ definitely could have had better effort to at least play defense there, but I didn't think that ball should have been thrown.
Yeah.
There was a couple
So-
times where where Caleb was forcing it.
Brady
when the
defended
game-
the throw for the record. Brady said that he read the defense right and gave his receiver a chance, and that DJ Moore should have made a better play on the ball. That's what Brady said on the analysis.
That being said, there's a guy.
Carm's analysis was that Tyson Bagent would have thrown it to Durham Smythe.
I said that, but you had to do that. I said that, and then
yes, I did because it's entertaining.
I just said that to troll you. But
I
my
know,
point,
and
my
I brought
point
it up on the show to troll you.
Yeah, okay, fine. My
troll you, troll me.
Yeah, but then you get all these jamokers. Now they're going to come out.
Don't worry about jamokers.
Not the jamokers. Listen,
they're trolls.
Brock Purdy, to your point, Braggs. Brock Purdy or whoever you want to name would have taken the wide open receiver right in front of him for 20 yards. Durham Smythe was, literally wide open.
Because that also happened at the beginning of the game too. And Hoge, when we get to your QB report this upcoming, which I'm looking forward to a normal week this week, where we just do our shows how we've been doing the last couple weeks. It's been nice, but I'm glad to get
no
back
more holidays. They're ruining the Bears.
No
season.
more. That's what I'm saying. No more holidays. No more Christmases. But there was at the beginning of the game where Caleb almost threw that interception to DJ Moore. He has DeAndre Swift open in the flat right away, and he ended up going to Swift in the flat later in the game, and it's like, man, you got to take those layups early, and then
think what the defense giving you,
yeah, man,
and then all of a sudden when it's open, you go.
They were pressing, and Caleb was too. Like they felt like they needed something to ignite them. You know what's going to ignite you is consistency. Like you can't just you can't look for the splash. You gotta, like you said, take what the defense gives you.
It was kind of crazy too that Brady saluted that throw because it was across the field. Like it was
He didn't salute it. He defended Caleb's decision making with how the underneath defender versus the safety were played.
Okay, fair enough. I mean, Brady probably knows a little bit more about this than me, but maybe
well, and that's where you miss Rome, right? Rome's the type. Well, at least you drafted him to be the guy to go up and get that ball. I know he hasn't been necessarily the 50-50 catch god that we thought we were getting from Washington, but he certainly can make plays like that.
And now I'll make my stupidest comment of the show. But listen, if you're not out, this is going to be my dumbest one.
We should have a graphic for that. Carm's stupid comment of the show.
We'll be the judge of that.
Okay. Well, listen, if you're healthy enough to jump up and down on the sidelines, then I'd rather or how's this? If you are just playing the long game of not playing to be best for the playoffs, don't jump up and down to the sidelines. Just sit your ass on the bench and just chill out. Like I don't need to see you firing up the crowd. We need you as healthy on the field. I think it's a good point. What are you doing?
We actually do have a graphic for that. That's called the meatball take of the game. That was pretty good. Actually do.
That was pretty good.
But that would have been it. Yeah. That was actually a great meatball
jumping
take.
up and okay, all right. I know you're like
if you're healthy enough to jump, you're healthy enough to play in an NFL football game.
Well,
I don't even think you
to
are
that point.
Like,
I don't think you're going to have to worry about it because I think Rome's going to play next week.
Yeah.
So I think that's going to add a layer. And now you've developed Luther Burden and Colston Loveland, who I thought had great moments once again here tonight, especially Colston. I know he had the drop at one point that was brutal, but I think you're going to give him a pass, especially for what he's been to this offense the last few weeks. So I look forward to Rome returning. You've got a good arsenal.
Yeah. All right. Let's get back to the supers here until I make my next brilliant point. Who's up, Steven? Mista Strick.
Mista.
$20 from Mista. This was Ben's version of F them kids. Okay. Anybody understand that one?
Yeah, that's like a Jordan meme. F them kids.
Yeah. Okay then. Okay. Thank you, Mista Strick. You are hipper than me.
Well, because that comes from the F them kids is Jordan was at a camp, and if he said, if I miss a shot, then everybody gets free Jordans. And the kids were like, yeah. And then he proceeded to make 50 shots in a row, and the kids didn't get free Jordans.
No.
F them kids.
Yeah.
The fact that Bragg just had to explain a Jordan thing to Carm is the most shocking thing.
That I hated that. Johnny DeVivo, $20. We won 4+ games with our backup linebackers in. I'm not a coach, but let's keep that ball rolling. More runs to Monungai. One of the best spellings of Monungai I've ever seen. That was you channel your 6-year-old spelling and that's great. It's a tough name to spell. Monangai for the record. I only know that because I write it all the time. We're on board with you, brother. DeMarco Jackson, let's get him out there. Enough with pick a linebacker, any linebacker, Tremaine or TJ, bench one of them. Let's get DeMarco.
Yeah.
Honestly. What would you do, Woot?
Todd Kinsey. We have to keep going through supers. There's another show coming up. We're already over 2 hours. Todd Kinsey, $20. This loss sucked. Hoge, love your analysis. I want a Carminica. Braggs, glad to see you made it.
The
Does he mean like here or in life? Because I think you made it in life.
Should I go get the Carmonica to wrap
maybe.
this up, or are we just going to leave the Carmonica off the
I
show?
barely made it in both regards.
Yeah, let's leave it.
One of these days when you remember to bring the
This is a hanger show.
to the
That's
show,
around.
you can play your Carminica.
All right, you read the next super. I'm getting the Carmonica.
Thank
Oh,
God.
gosh.
Here we go. We'll finally get through these, Steven. All right. We got T-Boy, TM2, $20. Shout out Greg and CHGO for making my first game a good one, regardless of the results.
Yeah, hey,
job,
appreciate you
Greg.
coming out. Tailgate's going to be a lot of fun here next week. We'll find out what day it is, but as Hoge and the guys mentioned earlier, you can go to allchgo.com/events, get your tickets. It is going to be a madhouse. It's pinned in the chat. Go to allchgo.com/events and get your tickets to the tailgate. You will not regret it, whether you're going to the game or not. This is going to be the pregame you will not want to miss. No doubt about it. Can't wait.
Matt B, the DJ Moore, $20. The DJ Moore super chat is referring to QB School's breakdown videos where he says 2 does not equal good effort. Oh, that I do actually understand. Put it out like that, yes. I think he tweeted that tonight too. He has been pointing out his lack of effort on film for 2 years now. I think we need to trade or cut 2.
2's not going anywhere, but a guy that could be. We can talk about that further, but the Bears could get out from under Jalen's contract in the offseason if they wanted to do it. We can talk about that at a further time.
For the record, you guys know how I feel about JT O'Sullivan, QB School. Love it. I've learned a lot from him. I think he brings up a lot of fair points. I think he's brought up a lot of fair points on DJ Moore. I think he's a little too harsh on DJ, like a little bit too hard, but I think some of the things he has to say about it is definitely fair at the same time. All right.
You do Carm's Yawn?
No, the Twan 89, $10.
Use you.
Some of these I get nervous. With this defense, next week's wild card game is going to be awful. Okay,
Twan.
My
guy.
I just don't know. I mean, whatever. We'll see. We'll see next week. I just think it's funny that no one sees this coming where the Bears just play completely different next week. That's who they've been.
Well, no, and by the way, Brady was saying that during the broadcast. He's like, every week's different. No one saw this effort coming
100%.
today. Next week will be different too. But also it could be different for the Packers who have lost 4 in a row.
Sure.
You know, it probably will be. All right, Carm's Yawn, $10. The non-existent pass rush was obvious from the jump going back to the preseason game against KC.
Yep.
Wow, we're referencing preseason now. Poles kept his powder dry. Now next week we risk BTA embarrassment against our arch rival.
Don't be scared. We're going to beat Green Bay.
Well,
I'm 3%.
What are you talking about? They went out and got Tryon Shoyinka.
And think about it. You have an opportunity where you could play the Packers and the Eagles and then the Niners in the NFC. All 3 teams you went toe-to-toe with, 2 of which you beat. 1 you almost had at the end. I mean, it is what it is. Yes, they could lose their first game. Yes, they could go on a run here.
I like the energy you're bringing. Keep doing it. Any more?
You do that one, and then I'll do my predictions.
Braxton. Concerning loss, $10. Thank you, Braxton. Concerning loss, but we were in it at the end. Cardiac Bears may kill me, but this season has been amazing. We'd all take it in August. That is 100% true. We would have taken it in September. We would have taken it in October and November. Plenty of work to do, and shout out to #Woots Pillow, which, Braggs, I don't think you saw the pregame show. We didn't have the actual Woot pillow. He was in a panic, and now we now know
Steven helped me out.
Steven stepped up, and we know that when Woot goes home at night, he's got his binky to help him go to bed.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that. That's the tender side of Woot, which allows you to
You use a hanger. I use a
Steven, I do think before we get to the predictions, I think I saw Mark Carman in the chat earlier.
Was that you?
Oh, I saw that. It's amazing you only did one of those. Carm was he was commenting on his own show. Carm said, "This is a dangerous game. I can talk as if I'm Mark Carman. What do I say?" Of course, this was actually Braggs with Carm's phone.
Now, did you upload a picture of me into the avatar, or was that my YouTube?
That's just your account.
Did you have access to his Twitter during the game?
No, well,
yes, of course he
I
did.
could have, but I was just on CHGO Bears.
Wow, what a missed opportunity that was.
Do
you know how
I
many
made a promise to him
trolling
that I
Bajan-
would only go on CHGO Bears Twitter. I would not go into any of his texts or any of his pictures or whatever weird crap is on his phone that I
but
want
at
no
least
part of.
one tweet from his Twitter account
Plus, the
would
game
have
was
been
stressing me
applauded.
out. I didn't have time.
Yeah, I know.
But then when you guys
fact-
were talking about me on the way back, I had the game on YouTube or had the show.
If
on
I
YouTube.
had your phone, I would have tweeted 5 times during the game on your account. Bajan would have made that throw. Bajan would have made that throw.
No. That's good to know. I think we should all celebrate the fact that this moment where, I mean, how many of you out there would allow...
That's a huge trust thing. I would never let anyone have
Oh,
my
I've been
phone.
telling him for 4
In a
hours, it's a
million
terrible
years,
idea.
Would never let you have my phone.
You should just know that I went out of my way to believe in and trust you with my phone.
Right. And
So-
I knew that.
So
and I think somebody like me that understands the gravity of the
you were-
seriousness of phones.
It's a very serious thing that we did here today. This is a huge
I'm
accomplishment.
proud
for
of
the
both
show.
of you. I'm proud of both of you.
That was a trust tree moment.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you for stepping up and being a great teammate. I'm proud of you for...
Now the Bears
I'm
just
not-
need to trust each other the way me and Mark Carman trusted each other today.
Right. You didn't look at one text message?
Nothing.
One picture.
And his phone was blowing up. This guy.
I know.
Holy crap, dude.
I mean, that's mainly
Got
because
900
I'm so
people
worried that
hit
I'm
me
going to
up.
get a text from or a Slack or something that I've got everything turned on so Hoge doesn't yell at me.
All right, here's your matchups. I'm going to predict them right now. Because we know all the matchups. We're just awaiting the result of Steelers-Ravens, which I have no idea what the score is right now.
Ravens
all right.
are up 10-3 in the third.
In the 325 slot on Saturday, again, these are not the actual TV listings. I'm just guessing what they'll be. I'm going to go with Rams at Carolina Panthers on Saturday afternoon.
Are the Texans in the playoffs?
Yes, the Texans
Then
are
it's
in.
always the Texans.
I know, but the Texans play either Baltimore or the Steelers.
It's always the Texans. I'll put
I
money
think
on it.
that will be the Saturday night game.
Correct.
I think Texans at either Ravens or Steelers will be the Saturday night game.
Okay.
Noon on Sunday, I'm going to go with Bills at Jaguars. Still want to get Josh Allen in a somewhat good slot, but the Jaguars are never going to... I think you can make a Saturday case for the Jaguars for sure, but I think with Josh Allen in there, it's big enough for... Maybe that's Saturday night, but I'm going to go with Sunday noon game on that
I
one.
can roll with that.
In the 325 window, I'm going to predict that's the Bears-Packers game.
I agree.
I like that.
Bears-Packers, they always love the Packers in that slot.
Tom Brady again on the call.
Yep. And so I'm going to go with that. I believe the Blackhawks just beat the Vegas Knights in overtime.
Yeah.
Great streak they're on right
You
now.
can see it on the reflection.
They
Yes.
win yesterday, too?
Yes, they're on a roll right now.
4 in a row?
That one barely went in. Bertuzzi. Let's go.
Bertuzzi! Let's
Hat
go.
trick
Let's
for
go,
Bertuzzi.
Jay Zawoski.
Ever since they got rid of that Bedard guy.
That's a great
on a
point.
roll.
All right. Anyway, where was I? I just did Bears-Packers 325. Sunday night, I am going to go with 49ers-Eagles.
I like that.
49ers-Eagles on Sunday night. That's a pretty good game. And then that leaves Monday night, and the only one left, Chargers-Patriots. I think you get a good coaching matchup there with Harbaugh and Vrabel.
And I get that there's Sunday games where then they'll play on the Saturday the next week and they're on a short week. But I just think they should do away with Monday wild card games.
Well, okay,
I agree,
okay.
but-
From an actual competitive standpoint, I completely agree with you. As a very selfish football fan, I love this setup.
Agreed.
2 games Saturday, and I don't have to be up
But if
too
they
early.
put the Bears on Monday night, I'm going to freak out.
Okay. Well, in that case, yeah, we'll get rid of the game.
Yeah.
Completely.
I will not be happy if they put us on Monday.
They're not putting, well, I doubt it.
Because Troy.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Line up Troy with Caleb and
Well,
company.
I think he...
Let's go. What up, Troy? Yeah.
All right.
Hey, on the way out here, shout out to Jonathan on NFL Fan of the Year candidate. He gave me his patch. He gave me his thing. I don't know if you can see the.
He gave you his what?
His thing. I got Otten's thing right here. There's a QR code on this. Zoom in, scan in, vote for Otten Fan of the Year.
Zoom in.
He gave you his zoom in.
You'd have to zoom in on Otten's thing.
You zoom in at home, damn it.
Zoom in
Learn
on
how to
Otten's
zoom in. Zoom in on this
J.O.,
thing.
you're the man. I got I'm going to end every show until the thing's not done until February with an opportunity for you to zoom in on Otten. Right here, vote for him. Do you have a link?
Jay, does this goal count or what? Are they reviewing it? I hate hockey reviews.
Ooh, hockey review.
All right. Anyway, we got to get out of here. Brick by brick. After show's coming up next. Carman's.
Braggs is going to tell you for the next 3 hours about how they're going to win the Super Bowl, damn it, and we're going to be there.
One game at a time.
One game at a time.
I'm not saying we're going to win the Super Bowl.
How many
I'm
times
telling you, it's 1 week.
How many times have they won 4 games in a row this year?
Twice?
Twice.
Come on now.
Everything goes in threes.
Last time they lost 2 games in a row, what'd they do to Dallas?
Yeah.
They won by like 50.
Beat their butts.
BTA, baby. We're out of here. Brick by brick. Hoge and Jahns tomorrow morning. And we're right here at 1 o'clock with Lance Briggs with us. And then we got Braggs and Friends and Company and After Dark and all that going on tomorrow night.
And if you don't want to watch Brick by Brick, then go watch the Blackhawk Show because that's going on now too.
Yeah. Thank you, Carm.
No problem. All the options. Hey, it all goes into the same pot, buddy. You're a team guy.
Yeah.
You're about team.
Yeah.
You're not about you. You're about team.
That's right.
Team.
Yeah. Let's watch the Blackhawks.
Playoffs next, baby.
We all silly like the mayor.